And we are live. Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I have assembled an elite panel. Okay, y'all hear me talk about the Otaku Faithful. This is the Otaku Elite in here right now. All right. Now, for those of you all who may be new to my channel, who may not be familiar with some of these faces, let me go ahead, allow me the opportunity to reintroduce some of these people to you all. First and foremost, I have the best damn Black Widow cosplayer east of the Mississippi, my girl Christina up in here. Say what's up to the people.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, my girl Melina Pendulum.
Hello all, good to see you.
And next, we got Black Panther's evil twin brother, my man Esper Review in the house.
Hello, Otaku Faithful.
And I have summoned this man from the grave. Y'all thought y'all would never see him again. The real mad genius creator behind Ultron. Don't believe the lies. This Negro was responsible. My man Uber Hikari.
Hey, what's up? That Edo Tensei worked great, man.
Wait, say that again?
I said that Edo Tensei worked great.
I totally didn't catch that. I got echoed. But anyway, I have assembled this elite panel to give you all our in-depth thoughts on Captain America Civil War, as well as some of our expectations and speculations on the upcoming slate of Marvel films. We're here, bring you all episode 7 of OAW Live right here on Otaku Assemble.
Of course, Hugo comes in now.
And now
Oh my God! Perfect
now
timing.
he comes in late as can be.
He's getting his tea on. He's getting his Kermit on over there.
5 minutes. If we would have just waited 5 minutes, okay. And of course, you all know my partner in crime, the creator of the Strangeverse, Mr. Hugo Strange.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Sorry I'm late.
You totally just missed like the most epic opening in the history of YouTube.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'll have to watch it later.
Anywho, so like I said, I have assembled this panel in order to bring you all our in-depth thoughts on Captain America Civil War. The film's been out for a week today. Well, stateside, it's been out for a week today. I think it's been out for like 2 weeks over in the UK by now. And I'm not sure what was the Asian release date for the film, but all in all, hopefully those of you all who are watching this have had the opportunity to check out the film, because we will be discussing spoilers. We'll be doing spoilers in this live hangout. For those of you all who want to hear my thoughts on the film completely spoiler free, check out my Captain America Civil War review. Annotation for that will be probably here. I'll probably wait, you can't see it on the camera. I'll probably put it here. Probably here. So yeah, please feel free to check it out. For those of you all who are still here checking out the hangout, I'm assuming everyone is up to brass tasks on what's going on. So once again, this is your final spoiler warning. We will be discussing spoilers in this live hangout. All right, everyone's good? Everyone's cool?
Yes.
All right, so since I've already shared my thoughts on the film in my separate review, I want to go ahead and give my panel the opportunity to pretty much just give your overall general thoughts on the film, and then we'll dive into more details about specific topics. But let's kick things off with Christina. Take us away.
Hey, well, I love the movie. I'm Team Cap. And growing up, my hero was Spider-Man. So seeing him in this movie, seeing Peter Parker, period, was just, I had tears in my eyes. So I pretty much love everything about this movie. So I'm ready to get into it.
Okay, Melina, what about you?
Winter Soldier was my favorite of the Marvel Universe movies up until this point, and I still think it's the better one, but I thought this was a great follow-up to Winter Soldier, and the joy I felt seeing Peter Parker actually feel like Spider-Man and Peter Parker at the same goddamn time. Like, Tobey Maguire can be retired now. Like, we have our new Peter Parker. Young May needs to go, though. I don't know who that young lady was, but I know who she is. I'm saying I don't know who she was trying to be, because Aunt May is a granny. God bless. But I love the movie, and I'm excited to hear what y'all think about it.
Okay, what about you, Esper?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good film, pretty good spy espionage film. Like the Russo brothers, they always bring that down to earth feel without letting it be too maintained. And I enjoyed like the overall aspect of it, like the grayscale, like color filters and stuff like that. I really, really enjoyed it, man. And all the close quarters combats too. You can't beat that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how about you, Hikari?
The film basically had no flaws. I mean, it was a great film. Probably one of the top 3 that Marvel has released so far. So, my perspective is that it was a great movie.
All right, and what do you think, Hugo?
Oh, do I have to be Simon Cowell now? Do I have to say I hated it just to balance out the... No, I loved it. It was great.
Wait, I was about to say, I was like, I know you couldn't have hated this movie. If you would have hated this movie, then I don't even know you no more.
No, it was great. It was great. It had... Okay, if I wanted to be nitpicky, I could say it had one flaw that I noticed. But, I mean, like, that's being overly nitpicky. So it's like, knowing that, it was great. Loved it, top to bottom. Loved everything about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I mentioned it in my review. I'll just mention it briefly here. I mean, granted, it's not a perfect film because there are some flaws. You know, like
Right.
some of the CG work could have been done better because they've done better. And I will also say this because I got into some detail with this in my review, but not too much. It's like, you know, I mentioned how like there were some characters I think could have played a bigger role, like Scarlet Witch I think should have played a bigger role in the film and whatnot. And I didn't even touch on Zemo in my review because I didn't want to reveal to anyone, you know, who the villain actually was. And it's like, yeah, they could have done some more stuff with Zemo, but all in all, you're talking about you're talking about things that would have required lengthening, you know, making the film longer.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like if you have this time parameter, then no, I mean it was pretty much good for what it was. Like I say, even with the few flaws, that doesn't mean the film was bad. They don't hinder the film. It's just few things that could have made it even better. So,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
all right, but so who wants to go ahead and bring up the first topic of discussion about Civil War?
I do.
Larry, Melina jumped in. Okay.
Can we talk about T'Challa? Like, Black Panther.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Black Panther's so lit.
I was so, like, he was the aspect of the movie that if they got wrong was going to piss me off. Because King T'Challa of Wakanda, and even what I heard from behind the scenes of how they incorporated, like, the language based on, like, Nelson Mandela and, like, really trying to make him feel like this regal, kingly person. And I thought they nailed it. Like, with the little bit of screen time that they had with that character, they made him feel like a real person. And it made him smart. When he was like, I ain't dealing with these white people problems fighting at the end, I was like, that's right, T'Challa, because that's none of your business. You came here to do one thing, and he did it. And he ended up being probably one of the standout characters in a movie full of really great characters.
I agree. Like, he was my favorite part of the film. In hindsight, I kind of feel bad, you know, because I went repping my Cap shirt, and I'm like,
Exactly.
in real, honestly, I was there to see Black Panther. What tripped me out though was that I figured, like, at first I thought it was just going to be a matter of, oh, this is going to be sort of his intro cameo, much like what we got with Spider-Man, and it's like, no, homeboy had a complete. Not only did he have a complete fucking character arc, here's the other thing too. The story we got for him in Civil War. Am I the only one who thought that's what Black Panther solo movie was going to be?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I totally I thought it was going to be the origin story, and it's like, no, they did the fucking origin in this movie. I'm like, oh snap. Well, damn.
If I can say that I like the fact that he didn't as King T'Challa. He was Prince T'Challa.
Yes.
Up until that moment when his father died. And
Mhm.
that kind of, I like the fact that he had that moment where it's like, I like the fact that he didn't have a moment where it's like, oh crap, I'm king, what do I do? He kind of realized like, okay, one thing at a time, First thing I need to do, kill Bucky Barnes. Then I'll be king later.
that was the first thing on his list. All right, that mofo's got to go.
Right. I like the way his character is integrated into the other theme of the Sokovia Accords, because when his father gets killed, the first thing he does is say, okay, we're going to put together a hit squad. And at that point, I'm like, the Sokovia Accords is not supposed to be a superhero team hit squad. That's like not what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to take Bucky Barnes in, not try to kill him on sight. So I thought the way they integrated the character arc seamlessly with the larger thematic issues in the movie was also pretty good too.
Exactly. It made perfect sense why T'Challa had a motivation to sign the Sokovia Accords, but he wasn't exactly on Tony Stark's side, to be honest. Because you notice there's really no interaction between him and Tony.
Right.
Here's my question though. Did T'Challa sign the accord? Like T'Challa didn't sign the accords, right?
But I think they're part of it because his father was the one that kind of heralded in the accords in the first place. So I'm assuming Wakanda is probably like one of the major people that they have to respond to.
Yeah, T'Challa was
his grandfathered in.
T'Challa,
T'Challa was there as part of the UN.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying what Melina was saying is that because Wakanda signed the accords, T'Challa's kind of grandfathered in because T'Chaka was the one who signed. So, you know,
this starts to raise an interesting issue that's really not addressed in any of the other Marvel movies, which is the African continent more generally, and the question of the sovereignty of African nations, right? So, even if I think. I mean, this is just my perspective, but I think that even if T'Challa would have been king at that point, I think that he would have still signed the accords because I think that he can't risk having a sort of superhero team violate the national sovereignty of Wakanda. I don't think he just can allow that, especially from the stance of East versus West. You can't allow some team from America to potentially violate the sovereignty of the Wakanda nation, especially as a king and a diplomat.
I want to bring up one thing, though. When they were talking with Ross about the fact that they're like a U.S.-based, like American team, I thought, like, half the people there aren't technically from America. Like,
I know, right?
Or even people. I was like, what are you talking about? Wanda ain't even from this damn place. But what I thought was interesting is that we have two movies in which, I'm not trying to compare Batman v Superman to this, but we do have two movies where the major crux of destruction takes place in Africa or around black bodies. And in this movie, we got to see the black bodies respond and come out as more powerful than before. And that just on kind of like that level was just really great. I mean, to have Rodney and Falcon and Black Panther all be in this movie and get to be boss. We got to have Falcon and Rodney talk to each other about something that did not concern white people. Like, they were talking about, like, their homeboys or whatever. They were being their own people. And people cared about Rodney getting hurt. Like, when Tony saw Rodney get shot, he was like, my nigga. Like, in his mind, that's what he felt. And he was just so heartbroken. And I think that I love seeing all these black people in this movie get to be badasses.
And what I have to say is, like, this isn't a movie where we have three black characters just acting as your stereotypical black characters. You have three different black characters with their own distinctive personalities, which I enjoy. And this is a time where a kid doesn't have to worry about just if a white person is going to wear the outfit. You know, like a white kid could wear the Black Panther outfit and a black kid could wear a Panther outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I always liked about these kind of multicultural superheroes.
I'll even go as far. Now, granted, I could be given the benefit of the doubt to the audience at large, but even watching this film though, like even I was getting the feeling, and I sort of got the same vibe from the people in the theater. It's like, but we weren't even watching. Like I think at some point it got to the point where it's like we're not even watching black actors. That's James Rhodes, you know. That's Sam Wilson, you know. And the second that Bosman started speaking like this, I'm like, oh nigga, you are T'Challa. That's it. That's it. I'm like, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it. I will say this though. I will say this, just a brief little nitpick. Like, Okay, first and foremost, I was gonna be mad as hell because I thought they were gonna kill off Rhodey, and I'm like, oh, I'm
I would
fixing
have
to
been
fight somebody.
fuck.
But I will say this, like that last scene, you know, when Rhodey was doing his rehabilitation and whatnot, like that shot, I think they just caught him at a bad angle with that sun coming through that window, hitting
The gray?
the gray. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, Cheeto, you might want to think about start shaving that, my boy, because the receding hairline and the gray is popping out. that one scene sort of broke, you know, the illusion is like, no, Rhodey's not that old.
Yeah.
But I'm totally with you. But also on the other hand, though, I think part of me can't help but think that as much involvement and as many scenes as we got with those characters, this film had something to do with the fact that they were mostly absent in Age of Ultron.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I do remember that was a major complaint about Age of Ultron. Because they're both in the movie, and then they sort of vanish, and we see Rhodey come back at the end for the big finale, but
Yeah,
Falcon
we're
wasn't.
asking like, we're like, where's Falcon?
Right. And I think also, like, they managed, like, unlike Age of Ultron, because I like Age of Ultron, but I prefer this movie, is that they managed to make every character, like, even in the little battle sequences, it was like, okay, I see why you're here, I see why you're here, I see why you're here. Like, sometimes you'll watch a movie with these ensembles, it's like, why the fuck did you even call this mofo that can't do nothing? Like, we're doing this right now. You can put Hawkeye in the corner. But in this movie, you felt like why you needed every piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
The comic books, this movie was a lot more personal. Right? They're not just like some sort of ideological big figure. They have some personal investment in the conflict, which is why it makes it difficult to choose between Iron Man and Captain America. Because on a very personal level, it's not easy to evaluate their positions, and then do that in terms of personal investment. I mean, like Iron Man, at the end of that movie, I mean, I really felt for him. Like, dude, Captain America, you're supposed to be my friend, and then you lied to me. You betrayed me. And that's more than just, this movie of poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think, I didn't, like, I figured going in, because of course, it being loosely, I think at this point, I think we can all agree, loosely based off of the comic book miniseries. The comic
and
book
done better,
event.
in my opinion.
Yeah, done much better. But here's the thing, though, like even going in knowing that, like, I was surprised how personal they made it. And yeah, when we got that reveal at the end, I was like, oh.
And I think this is the Robert Downey Jr. This is the Tony Stark that we wanted. We wanted that Iron Man 1 Tony Stark where he was like, man, people are fucking with my equipment. They're using it for evil doings. Let me go over there and do something. This is the Tony Stark we wanted.
Right. When Alfie Woodard came there and Black Mama shamed him, it was just like, look at my son. Oh. Do you see my son? Is she playing the same character she's going to be in Luke Cage? That's going to be awkward then.
No.
No.
Okay.
They actually, I don't think they knew. Yeah, they didn't know that she was going to be filming that for Civil War when they cast her in Luke Cage.
Oh, I thought she was the same character.
Wait, say that again?
She's not the same. She's not the same character.
She's a character.
She's casting for Luke Cage.
Who? Who?
Alfie Woodard.
The mama. From
the black mama in the beginning, he was like, "You killed my son. I'm responsible."
Oh yeah. Oh wait, so she's gonna be in Luke Cage?
Yeah, she's the villain in Luke Cage. So I thought that's what it was tying into. I thought like this was gonna lead to that. Like she's like, "Fuck you, now I'm gonna go fuck up Harlem," but I was mistaken.
Oh wow. So we finally got an actor repeat in the MCU. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, Jarvis and Vision.
What was that?
I said besides Jarvis and Vision.
But they're the same person.
That's intentional,
right?
At least.
Yeah.
So I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how responsible should we make Bucky for what he did as the Winter Soldier? Because I felt like with the ending, that was really the question that I had. It's like, Bucky was clearly a victim of mind control. He did not want to do these things, and we see that it makes him more violent. But at the same time, he has killed so many people. What should be the consequences for that? Because I think that's kind of like the good thing about the movie is that while it makes everything kind of feel whole, it leaves those gaps to be like, we still have not resolved the Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier problem.
I love those kind of questions.
Yeah.
I think that's what is.
Well, I mean, that's like the cool thing about that though is that what makes Cap's whole crusade all the more all the more virtuous is not just him. Because here's the thing, Cap, I don't think Cap would have went to the lengths that he went to in order to protect Bucky just because Bucky was his homeboy. No, if you really think about it, Bucky is innocent. And he would have to suffer for crimes that he did not knowingly do himself. He was not in control. He didn't have a choice in the matter. So, I mean, now, and in terms of how is that going to be resolved, don't know. Yeah, I mean, they never resolved it in the comics, if memory serves.
No.
You're dealing with a man similar to Captain America too. He's like a man out of time too. So you're dealing with all these different, how can I say this, convictions of taxonomy where you're doing what you think is right and what you classify as right. You're dealing with all those things too, because that's what Steve's dealing with right now with this surveillance of the U.S. and all that.
Yeah, I think that it's not exactly the same thing. But let's say, S.H.I.E.L.D. never went down, Hydra was never in S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever and all that, and Steve was still, gung-ho with the government and all that stuff. You could kind of switch the roles because of Ultron when you think about Banner and Scarlet Witch, doing the mind thing to him in Africa, and how many people were killed in that. And let's say Civil War switched. Steve's on government side, and Tony is like, I gotta protect Banner. Let's say it was Banner instead of Bucky. Like that, you can kind of see it that way too. When people are like trying to put this whole Tony and Steve together, it's you can kind of turn it around and 360 it.
True. Yeah. I mean, and they've already done that with Banner though, because I'm pretty sure I mean, hell, they had to send Black Widow just to find him, just to bring him back stateside. And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for Fury and Shield, let Ross would have found out that Banner was on that helicarrier.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He'd be like, nope, I'm taking him. He's a fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I ran across an article, and I didn't finish reading it, but I did catch the headline where they were like, "Is anyone surprised why Nick Fury isn't in this movie?"
Not much, not really.
No, I didn't think he'd even be in it.
I didn't really miss him either. Like I feel like after Winter Soldier, that the presence of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be more of a hindrance than a help.
Yeah, I never really liked S.H.I.E.L.D. that much anyways.
Well, I mean, we don't even have S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, though, right? Like, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone.
Yeah. Plus, wouldn't S.H.I.E.L.D. be more evidence as to why you shouldn't trust the UN? Sorry, Christina.
Oh, no. Just like S.H.I.E.L.D.'s technically underground, but yeah, the movies don't acknowledge that, so.
Oh, is that what they're doing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, like Coulson is still running the whole thing and everything. It's just underground, and they're dealing with Inhumans and everything right now, so that's kind of like, people are like, where's Tony gonna go get Spider-Man when we got all these Inhumans, we got like, all the Netflix people, but he goes to Queens to get Spider-Man. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Like I know they sort of created this division, and I'm not sure who was the one that initiated it. I don't know if it was Kevin Feige or Josh Whedon or whatever, who decided like they weren't going to try and make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like they weren't going to tie Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in with the movies.
Yeah, not anymore because it's literally separated. We got this guy named Perlmutter. He's dealing with all the TV stuff now, and then Feige is straight up just doing the movie stuff, and they basically don't like each other, so they're not trying to mix it at all anymore.
Is Whedon still involved with the show though? Because I know he's not involved with the movies anymore.
Ooh,
That's
I mean,
kind
I
of
think it's
shady.
like, yeah, I think that's why they took down well, that's the rumor why they took down Inhumans from the slate, because now that they're totally into Agents of Shield, like Kevin Feige like, I don't want to have to deal with Perlmutter anymore, so let's let Inhumans, hang up somewhere.
Yeah, and I'll pretty much save my thoughts for the Inhumans when we get to the whole Phase 3 talk. Cause that, like, I remember when I heard, like, oh, it's pretty much been, it's been shelved for all intent and purpose. So, I'll touch on that. I'll touch on that later. But yeah, I did sort of, like, it wasn't until I ran across that article, I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Fury wasn't in that movie. But then again, it worked completely without him. What role would he have played? Well, okay, you know what? Fury could have been very useful in providing enough cannon fodder for Steve and the rest of his team to get out of that damn airport. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Cause he had all of them old Shield agents working for him at the end of Age of Ultron. It's like, some of those people would have been really helpful when we had to fight our way out of an airport.
When are we gonna have our first Nick Fury clone debut?
Probably when they decide to recast him younger.
I did want to, for a second, I wanted to return to the question of Bucky Barnes. I would say that Barnes is not responsible for his actions. Obviously, he's been mind controlled, but I do think he's accountable for his actions, and that's a little bit different. I think he has to take account for his actions, and I don't think he should have compromised Steve Rogers by basically putting him in a position where he had to lie to Iron Man about what happened to his parents. And I think just ethically, that's a more sound position to take. And this also raises interesting questions more generally about warfare and, to a certain extent, the military-industrial complex. Because you got to remember, back in World War II, these guys were using enhanced people, superheroes, whatever you want to call them, as essentially weapons of warfare. And Bucky Barnes is a product of that decision to go in that direction. I mean, without those, superpowered beings, maybe Russia never tries to kidnap Bucky Barnes and use him in that sort of way. So I think that the fallout from this, the consequences from Bucky Barnes being turned into the Winter Soldier, has to also fall on people who were involved in World War II, like America and Russia and everybody else.
And I think that's why Captain is so against the idea of this UN sanction, because he is coming from this environment where he has seen what these corrupt governments can do. And also, I think, because there's a scene where he almost signs the Accords, and then Tony lets it drop that he's keeping Scarlet Witch basically interned. Now you're telling a World War II veteran that you're keeping, well, in the comics anyway, a Jewish girl in an internment camp for her own protection. Like, there's no way that he would do something like that. And he sees kind of like what would happen what's the stuff would happen to Bucky to happening to any of these people if the UN decides we need more of them in our countries to combat all these US-based superheroes and put them under our control.
I do want to comment real quick to respond to you, Hikari. Bucky didn't put Cap in a position protecting that secret, because if you remember Winter Soldier, Steve found out about Hydra being responsible for Howard and Maria Stark's death. He found out about that before he even came in contact with the Winter Soldier, much less before he even found out Bucky was said Winter Soldier. Well, actually, no, because there was the fight after the hit on Fury on the rooftop. But he didn't know that was Bucky, though. He didn't know that was Bucky. So you can argue that he decided not to tell Tony that before he even found out who the Winter Soldier was.
Well, yeah, okay. Maybe he doesn't want to tell.
He could have brought it up, though. Bucky could have brought it up, though.
right?
He did say at the end, I remember all of them. When Tony was like, did you even remember them? He says, I remember all of them. So he could have brought it up himself.
Mm.
But would Bucky even bring that up to Steve? Like, say, man, you know that you. But Bucky did. He probably doesn't even have memory of that.
I mean, shit, they've been friends for like 60 years. I mean, shit, if he's not going to tell Steve, who else would he tell?
But why would he want to taint Steve's image of him? Like, Steve wants to save Bucky because of that relationship. If he tells him, I killed your new homeboy's parents and I killed all these innocent people, and to maybe even reveal that maybe there's a part of him that was an accomplice in all of that, like, that might taint their friendship. And why would that? That's like the last thing he has.
I don't know. If your friend is, I mean, okay, not comfortable, but if he's willing to at least confront and accept the idea that you've been used as a weapon of mass destruction and that you've assassinated and killed perhaps hundreds of people, then I think you can go a step further and say, listen, I'm sorry this happened, but I remember that I killed Stark's parents. I mean, all that other stuff didn't taint their friendship. I don't see how this could.
But that's the thing, though. He doesn't remember.
Remember, Bucky remembers.
Yeah, he said he remembered at the end.
Did he?
Yeah, he says he
Yeah.
remembers all of them.
He said he remember all of
He
them.
said he remembers all of them.
Oh, wow. Damn.
That's terrible. I mean, that's really bad.
But
I
it
mean,
could just be it could have just been the video jogged his memory, like, oh yeah, that's a thing that did happen. Because I imagine mind control being somewhat of like a fog. If you watch like how Jessica Jones describes it, that she was fully aware, but with the Winter Soldier, with those trigger words, it seems like he kind of loses himself each time one word is said. So it's kind of like a switch in his mind where one part of him is conscious and the other part isn't. So now, once seeing that video, it kind of realigned everything. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I?"
Here's the other thing that got me too. You remember in Winter Soldier when they wiped his memory after he started to remember Steve? They were like, "Okay, wipe him and prep him again." Like, I was under the impression every time he went through that, it was bringing him back to zero. So he wasn't retaining any of his memory as the Winter Soldier.
I never
That's why he
got
probably
that,
should
though.
have said, instead of saying, I remember all of them, he should have said, now I do.
I never got that whole prepping thing because, like, every time he would, like when he was getting ready to get wiped, it's almost like he knew that he was getting wiped because he was ready to get scrapped up and stuff. And I'm like, well, if he already knows, doesn't he have like a recollection every time he gets wiped? Like, doesn't certain information just get wiped out? But he knows that he's gonna get wiped out anyway.
Yes, that's confusing. But now that y'all bring all that up, yeah, that does bring. Actually, you know what? Now that you bring all of that up, yeah, you really do have to start questioning. You have to start questioning Bucky, actually.
And we're also assuming that it's like a full wipe. Maybe it's just making his mind more malleable. Because, like, if
Exactly.
you know, like intense hypnosis or getting you to a point where you can be more susceptible to whatever they're doing to him. Like, they also don't want him to forget his Winter Soldier training. They want him to forget that he's Bucky Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
right, that's true. And I mean, once he's, locked up inside of, I forget where they took him, and the psychiatrist comes in and he starts questioning him. I mean, at that point, Bucky Barnes might have started to have an inkling that this guy is going towards, Tony's parents' death. And if at that point he had that inkling, it compromised Steve Rogers.
I think maybe at the end when he says mission report, December 1991, I think that's when, it started rolling in his head then.
I'm just surprised that Tony didn't find out this information all by himself, man, because like the other agent said in the last movie, many people were tweeting about fucking Hydra and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So just that little trail right there, he could have just dug up some research for his damn self.
I think that he probably knew but didn't want to connect the dots. You know how you like have all the pieces together but you don't want to just finish the puzzle because he doesn't want to think of Bucky in that way. And I think that all of these just speak to their flaws as people. They're idealists and they want to believe in this great ideal and they want to preserve that as much as they can. And I think for Captain, as much as he knows Bucky's flaws, he's holding on to that because especially after Peggy dies, who else does he have that can understand those values and those feelings the way he can, except for Bucky?
Right. So how did you guys feel like when Tony told he told Steve, he was like, my father made that shield, and like Steve just throws the shield down. How did you guys feel about that?
I just want to say that I love the fact that at the end of the movie, Tony Stark basically turned into Rick James. Never gave you niggas a shield. Y'all know how to appreciate it.
Actually, yeah, I'll comment on that. Like, yeah, like it was something I wasn't expecting, but then the fact when Cap did it, I was like, you know what, that was the right thing to do because he has a point. Yeah. He has a point, and I firmly believe because of if Cap would have kept that shield, it's like you pretty much just turned your back on everything that shield is meant to embody and to symbolize. Right. So, if nothing else, I was looking at it sort of like in that moment, it was almost like Thor's hammer, where it's like he was no longer worthy of the shield. So I dug it. I was pissed at first because then I was like, well, and then we got the post-credit scene, and I'm like, oh, he goes, yeah, exactly. A vibranium.
He's gonna get into one.
Because anytime you have a situation where you make an idealized notion of a person, then they will never be worthy. They're fallible. And at that point, you have to ask, does he deserve the shield? Precisely because of his failings. Precisely because of the fact that we admire his moral courage and bravery, even though he's fallible. So on that level, I don't believe that it's right to say that Captain America doesn't deserve a shield. I think if anyone deserves the shield, it has to be him. He has to deserve it. He's the one who went through the experiences of war. He's the one who's more personally invested in this conflict, I think, more than anyone.
But I think him throwing it down and saying that, he is more than just a shield. The ideals that the shield encompass is him. In doing all the things that he's done, he's lived up to what the shield means. And even if Tony can't see that, it doesn't matter. Because it's he's doing the right thing, and the right thing means giving back this sort of, metaphor. It doesn't mean that he's not Captain America anymore, but it means that the Captain America that he was to Tony, that's not the Captain America he can be anymore, and still be true to who he is.
Right. And another thing that I thought about, too, from an analytical standpoint, is that you kind of sense that there's a duality between Tony and Steve because they're both Howard Stark's babies. You know what I'm saying? Steve is like the super soldier baby, pretty much. And it's like the fact that Howard, talks so much about Steve, it's like you get that, oh, maybe this is why Tony is so jealous and why he has so much built up hatred and stuff towards, wanting to punch a guy's teeth out or whatever.
It was just, you'll never be Steve Rogers.
Right. So I thought that was cool, man. So that added a little more to it, man, to, the psychosis of Tony Stark.
He probably didn't want to be petty either because he was already leaving with Bucky.
Right.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Once again, Cap ended up in Wakanda, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has a shield. Now, it probably won't be the same shield, but then again, but Cap's done this before in the comics, right? Where he's abandoned the Captain America moniker, because at one point he was, what was it, Nomad or something like that, where he was sort of he was more like a vigilante, and he wasn't staying within the country's borders, he was going London and France and stuff like that, globetrotting and whatnot. So he's done that before. Now, is that to say that we'll see him do that in the films? I don't really think so because he's not by himself, right? Because he busted out his team. Mm. So I'm not even sure if they'll take that route in the films. I hope not, because I don't care to see him in that Nomad costume.
Well, if he does get a new shield, he'll have a stronger paint job.
I'm curious who has to keep repainting that shield. I'd be pissed.
Yes. God damn it.
Scratches off and everything.
It's like I just did that paint job Tuesday. I just did did Tuesday?
Especially a Winter Soldier when you got the stealth one. It's like,
the blue
I gotta
one.
make it all gray and silver and blue,
Yeah.
and then make it back to red, and oh, Lord.
Captain America can paint his own shield.
Now, quick question, because I think we do got some mixed feelings on this one because of what Melina said earlier, and I'm gonna have to call you out on that. Okay, so let me get this straight. This is the Spider-Man you always wanted to see?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are different incarnations of Spider-Man that I like. But I feel like what I loved about Spider-Man in the comics was that he was this nerdy, average dude who got powers and was like, I'm going to be a good person with them. But he still was fun and he still did his own thing. I mean, we only saw him for a small amount of time. But I know that I really enjoyed his character, and I enjoyed what they did with him. I thought he was funny. I thought he was cute. I thought that the way that they did the costume thing made sense. Like, he didn't make his own fancy ass costume. He got it inherited by the scholarship that Tony Stark gave him. Like, I love all of that. I thought that they did a really good job of setting it up without an origin story, all that bullshit. He seemed genuine and charming. And, like, I hated the Amazing Spider-Man movies personally. I thought that their Peter Parker was way too hipstery and over the top. I thought that this was a really good combination of, like, awkward high school guy meets his destiny and becomes a superhero. I thought it worked.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, Spider-Man was my favorite. So, like, but, like, when we got, like, the Sam Raimi's and the Amazing, like, seeing this movie, seeing Civil War, honestly reignited my love for Spider-Man, because right now I'm all Cap. Like, everything in my house is Cap. But, like, seeing Civil War, it was like, whoa. Like, I couldn't believe it, because I watched the Sam Raimi ones, and I liked them. They were good. And then I watched Amazing. I liked them. They were good. But I just never felt like Andrew Garfield, yeah, he was too cool, too hipstery, like, you know. And then Toby was just, like, he was very lukewarm to me. And I just never felt like he hit that point. But when Tom Holland came to the screen and he was stuttering and, like, looking like, you know, should I play along with this? And Tony's, like, looking at him, and he's just like, come on, dude, come on, you know, like, and he's just, like, stuttering and nervous and, like, oh, yeah, you know, like, and like, it just, like, reignited something. It was basically giving me something I didn't know I missed.
Mm-hmm. Same, because when they talked about the reboot, I was never like, oh, I want another Spider-Man. I'm like, I'm done with them. But this kid, I don't know what happened, but I'm just like, that's right. I like the part where, like, Captain goes to him and is like, where are you from? He's like, Queens, and he's like, Brooklyn. Like, as a New Yorker, I just, like, that made me just smile. It just, I smiled every time. It was great.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the character, man. Like, what I like about what Marvel Studios does, it's kind of esoteric, because they can take certain elements from the Ultimate series and the other, you know, incantations and make it their own, you know what I'm saying? And this is something that we really haven't seen from, you know, Spider-Man. Just him being like this dumpster diver kind of, you know, eccentric kid that's making his own stuff with this old-ass Windows XP computer that he got. You know, I like that.
Not even XP.
I mean, older than that, you know what I'm saying?
Not even lying.
Probably playing
on Spider-Man. The first is that I don't like his voice. I mean, his voice is just too high, man. He sounds like a girl.
I like it.
I like it.
I like his voice.
This is me personally.
Man, I had to get a ShamWow, man. I was starting to get a little wet from Spider-Man's voice. You know what I'm saying?
Another issue that's sort of glossed over in the movie, Spider-Man is basically being recruited by Tony to be somewhat of a child soldier. I mean, he's manipulated to some extent by not completely explaining the full extent of the situation. I mean, all he tells Spider-Man is, look, you're a kid, I'm Iron Man, I know what's best, and also don't listen to Steve Rogers, because he thinks he's right, but he's actually totally wrong. And the fact that Spider-Man is, like, you know, 16, 17-ish, something like that.
I think it's 15.
Yeah, 15 years old.
Okay, like, if you put a 15-year-old in a conflict in Africa, that's a child soldier, right? I mean, only in a westernized, you know, Marvel movie could a 15-year-old fighting in essentially, I mean, pitched battle be a good thing. And I think that's a little bit glossed over.
Yeah, that was, like, I remember when I got out of the theater, like, because me and my sister went and saw it. And so on the ride back, you know, I'm sitting up here thinking about this movie, and I'm like, you know what? There's something really messed up in that movie. To say that Tony's whole motivation for signing the Accords was sparked by old girl telling him, like, yo, my son got killed, you know, during, you know, when y'all were overseas during Age of Ultron. And I'm like, dude, you just enlisted a 15-year-old to fight other superheroes. Like, that's messed up.
When does Tony not fuck up, though?
Like,
he's Machiavellian. He's like, whatever.
Not here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, I will give the film credit because they did have a reason behind it where it was like, oh, because the only reason why he went after him was because of his webbing. He was like, oh, yeah, take that shield, web them up, done, they're apprehended into the thing. But it's like, dude, that's Steve Rogers. You really think you're going to put him down that fast? And you really think he's going to come quietly? You should have expected that whole situation to get worse before it got better. And you put Peter right in the crossfire.
That was kind of messed up. That though.
Especially with these people that have
I think he really thought that Peter could actually try and hold his own. Because of the videos, he's been watching him for a while. He's been watching, analyzing, the tons he can fucking catch. He's been watching him for a while, and I think he actually thought that he could take it.
Well, he did stop a truck. It's not like he doesn't have super strength. But I think that this scene was really telling when they're doing the, work together, and he's like, they're not stopping. He's definitely not entirely prepared for this. But again, that's why I like the character. Even though I think that Tony was being, I think he just thought that Captain America was dumb. They think he's the dumb all-American boy, oh, I'll just use my brain and it'll just stop him. And... that was the problem.
I think we can all agree that this interpretation is the one where we got both of the dualities of Peter Parker and Spider-Man White right in the same context.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This is what we need. It's like Bruce Wayne and Batman. You had to get both counterparts correctly.
Yeah, I talked about it in my review, so I'll just touch on it briefly here. It's like, my thing is, I don't think that Holland is bad, as I think he does a good job. I think for me it's more a matter of how he's written. And like I said, personally, though, I'm struggling with this idea that he has to be written like a modern day 15-year-old, because I don't want to see a modern day 15-year-old. Have y'all tried talking to some of them?
They are annoying.
Oh, man,
Dude, there's.
I was really dumb as a 15-year-old, actually.
Wait, say that again, Hagar?
I said I was really dumb as a 15-year-old.
It's I don't know. There are certain aspects of that age group that can create a disconnect for an older viewer. And like I said, I'm not too much. I'm only 9 years older than Peter. Well, 11. I'm sorry. I keep mixing that up. I'm 11 years older than Peter's supposed to be in this movie, and that disconnect is already there. You know?
That's because you're you.
Wait, what'd you say?
You're 18 years old.
Wait, hold on. What'd you say, Hagar?
He's saying you're a hater.
Yeah,
I'm a hater.
Well, to be on the safe side, the actor is 19, so by the time the movie comes out, he'll be 20.
Well, no. What I'm saying, I'm just saying, for me personally, I'm starting to get that bit of disconnect.
I don't feel that this Tom Holland is that type of millennial that we're all being annoyed about.
Yeah.
I don't feel him
That's
being that way.
I mean, it's not your average,
And I think it'll be different from him being in a movie with grown-ups than when he's in a movie with people who are his peers, and you have the dichotomy of different kinds of teenagers. I think that with this, he has to be the one, remember that old movie, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, with the leg thingies? I was like, dude, we have YouTube. That's not really a thing that happens anymore. That's also a problem when, old people older people write for young people. Like, we have YouTube now. You can look up old movies. It's not like rare to know what an AT-AT is.
Might I just add? I thought that was completely. I just want to throw out there because I was watching another review of Civil War, and they pointed this out in their review, and it totally. I didn't even realize that. I'm like, you know what? For Peter to be 15 years old and to be a geek, and 6 months after Force Awakens, he would not talk of Empire Strike Back like that. He wouldn't talk like, oh, did you guys see that old movie? He wouldn't talk like that. He'd be like, hey, y'all remember in Empire? He would assume that the rest of them have already seen it. If anything, he'd have been like, wait, y'all ain't see that movie? Like,
I'm pretty sure he isn't aware that Rogue One is right around the corner from his movie. I like this though. Like, I think this is a better interpretation of him in the Civil War than the comic book, because in his comic book he was in his mid-20s, getting ready to be married and move away from the States. Mm-hmm. What I remember. You know what I'm saying? So you're dealing with a much more mature Peter Parker, but this one, it was like a big strong thing because you got Tony Stark, the guy who started the whole extended universe, coming in and sort of giving him the mantle almost, because there are no more Iron Man movies being made. There are 3 each for each movie. Yeah, 3 each for each movie. So he has his own 3 movies that he's going to be coming out with now. You know, so I thought that was just a good introduction to the character and overall.
I mean, like I said, I mean, just certain aspects of his portrayal, I'm kind of on the fence about. Now, granted, him as Spider-Man, I loved. I thought, like, him in the costume, I thought that made perfect sense. And I'm one of the people, another thing, I didn't think they needed an explanation to get his eyes to move like that. Like, oh, they're lenses. Like, I don't even think you needed to do that.
But the shot was so good, though.
Right.
But here's the
there
thing.
There were a lot of people complaining about it.
Here's
the trailer. From the trailer, a lot of people were complaining about it.
How many different costume iterations does each hero in the MCU always get, though? Come on, even Falcon has an upgrade by now.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on.
But now I will find this funny though, because no doubt they're going to do this. So in the movie, they said that he has the lenses because when he's using his powers, like, his senses are cranked up, so it's hard for him to focus, right? Okay, yeah. But how does that apply when you start using the lenses to give facial expressions? What is he focusing on then? Ant-Man turned into Giant Man and his eyes got big.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like that only really works if his eyes are getting smaller because he has to zoom in focus on something, right? So when his eyes start getting big, or when they start doing cross-eyed expressions with those lenses, is that explanation still?
I think that was just a fun little thing that Tony added, like, let's give some extra expressions. I can do it, so might as well do it.
All I'm saying is they didn't need to do an expression because we just had Deadpool where he made numerous expressions, which is a regular mask, and nobody questioned it.
I thought it would just be cool just if a kid just added it because he's a kid. That's what a kid would do, probably just add some goofy expressions to the eyes.
No, that's what Tony Stark would do to prank someone, especially a kid.
But I mean, so like I said, like I think as Spider-Man he's cool. I just don't know. Also, take this in consideration too, though, because I did bring this up in my review when I was talking about my issues with Spider-Man. There won't be the same writers doing his solo film. That's going to be a completely different team, different writers, a different director. So we don't even know if the Peter we get in this will be done the same way in those movies.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern.
At least Kevin Feige's ahead of the creative team. So
he has just enough time.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the bridge to, we can't stray away too much from how he was in Civil War, and I think he's going to link that up pretty good.
Hugo, you still up, man? Are you napping? Hugo? Hello? Did he seriously fall asleep?
Oh my God.
Oh.
If he did. Working man. Wait, hold up. Cause I can't get his screen to enlarge on my screen.
I don't see
It
him
looks
in
like
the.
he's asleep. Like I
I
can't.
think he really is.
Shit.
Okay,
that
well,
boy?
we will come back to Hugo later. Um,
Late to come, early to leave.
I know, right? So anyway, so before I segue over into like the Marvel Phase 3 bit, because like I feel like we could talk more about like Spider-Man Homecoming, which I'm still conflicted about that title. Anywho, anything else we want to touch on with Civil War before we jump into that?
The
There's
villain.
so much.
The villain.
Oh yeah, the villain. Yeah.
Oh, Zemo.
I feel like even though Zemos did have like a powerful reason behind his actions, I feel like it wasn't that big of enough for this movie.
But that's the thing, though. I think it was fine because the main people are Tony and Steve, and you need
Exactly.
their conflict to be
But-
stronger and more profound.
I feel
And
like we
Zemo's
have.
just the guy in the background try to, puppeteer all this stuff. I
But
think
still, though, it's like we already have these guys going at each other's throat, and then you got Thunderbolt right there, who could have been the red herring at the end of the film. You could have brought him out more.
I'm going to actually agree with Christina because I think that because this has been building up for movies. Like the superheroes come, they save the day, but they also keep creating casualties and building conflict. So you have one person who decides to light the final matchstick on that whole thing and kind of blow it up and already feed upon all their conflicts. I think that he was a good villain for this kind of movie where all the conflicts are very personal and very intimate. Like if it was like a huge villain would not make sense in a movie where the final reveal is that Tony's mom's been killed by Steve's best friend. It's so small and so intimate that if you have this like larger evil empire villain, it just seems like a tacked on sort of side thing.
I just felt like we didn't really need him. Like we could have did without him.
I keep hearing that, and it drives me insane. It's like, who's gonna kill T'Chaka? Who's gonna hire Crossbones to do that thing in Lagos? Who's the person? If you want to take Zemo out, who are you gonna replace to do all those breadcrumbs? Who's gonna be that person to connect it?
Here's my thing, and like this why I didn't have a problem with Zemo. Granted, now yes, I do wish we would have got him in the costume with the mask and the crown and the sword. We didn't get no sword. Okay, anyway, so I'm sorry because Zemo's like one of my favorite villains from Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Like I love him in that show. I think at times they write him even better than he's written in some of the comics. So, but anyway, like I didn't have a problem with him in the movie for that reason because yeah, he's a smaller villain, and yes, the stakes, is done on a more personal scale. But consider this: number one, we're dealing with a smaller villain whose motivation ties directly with T'Challa's. Directly.
Mm-hmm.
Their arc sort of progresses in the same manner, but also consider this, and this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest reason why I don't have a problem with Zemo. He's still alive. May I state that again?
He won. The first time he won.
Right. This is the first time we don't have a villain get killed off.
Yeah, because Marvel.
Besides Loki.
Dude,
Yeah.
Marvel kills me with that when they kill off all of their freaking villains, and it drives me up a wall.
Dude.
But no, Zemo's still alive, so we can get much more stuff with him in the future. But how about this? Because not a lot of people want to address this. He won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Won.
Yes. Thank you.
He did what Loki was trying to do in Avengers 1, but he actually succeeded.
Right.
Yes.
Without the power of an Infinity Stone.
And it all makes sense. All the conflicts have been set up from the beginning. It's not like, oh, Lex Luthor confused us with his words.
I'm sorry. I believe Zemo's little breadcrumbs before I believe Lex Luthor's breadcrumbs in BVS. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe explain more in the extended, 3-4 hour one that'll come in the DVDs where we missed all the deleted scenes and whatever. But I didn't feel like it was connected enough for Lex Luthor to like set up everything and make sure everything was gonna happen the night that Batman was gonna kill Superman.
I just put it this way: if you're gonna use source material, use it correctly with concepts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how beautiful it looks on the big screen. If you're not gonna put any concept or logic behind it, that's like me being in kindergarten and drawing street sharks killing Spider-Man. The teacher's gonna ask, "What's the fucking story behind a street shark devouring Spider-Man?" It just looks cool.
But I will say that Zemo's existence in the film creates a nice balance and symmetry, because ultimately his reasoning for attacking the Avengers is very personal, and the conflict that arises within the Avengers is also very personal. It's not political anymore. I mean, by the end of the movie, what was once a political crisis for the Avengers has devolved into a very personal crisis. And so I think that without Zemo there would be some asymmetry between what sparks the conflict and how the conflict ultimately ends.
Right.
And I actually heard this on a review earlier that the whole reason all of this happened, that Zemo initially doesn't want to do all of this bloodshed, it's because that Hydra guy won't give up the information, that he has to do the whole assassination thing to drive out Bucky to make all these things happen. So it shows that this is not someone who's just acting irrationally. This is a thinking villain, which is something that we rarely have. We have guys with like shitty 2-bit plans who just come up, I want a suit, I'm going to point my stick at you, or some bullshit. Like, I think with the Winter Soldier in this movie, they really have made this very intimate, smart, really intricate story for Captain America.
And do you peep how they psyched us out with the subplot of those other Winter Soldiers too? Because I thought he was going to unleash those.
Oh that's true too. I'm like, Okay, wait. Remind me, what was the whole point of going there to find where those other Winter Soldiers were?
I was like, what's the point of going there if you're just gonna go show a fucking video? You could have did that in the States.
I think that's where the files are.
Oh, that's where the files are?
The video was there.
Oh.
The video was there.
It fits perfectly with the personal tone of the film, because his killing of those Winter Soldiers is a personal indictment against Bucky Barnes. I mean, he's saying Bucky Barnes are these people. Bucky Barnes is not this idealized person that Steve Rogers thinks he is. He's not he's not your friend. He is a murderer. He's an assassin. And I think that personal indictment sort of fuels Tony Stark. Like, yeah, he's right, man. He killed my fucking parents.
And I think also that the motivation for him, for Alfie Witter's character, is just all like, there have to be consequences to what the Avengers do. Maybe not governmental, but emotional. Like, even on Jessica Jones, they touched on this a little bit. Like, the Avengers, well, they saved thousands of lives. Hundreds are still going to die. Yeah. And those lives aren't meaningless to people. And even though I'm not one to be like, Superman may destroy some stuff, but he saves more than he does. It still doesn't mean the people that have lost something don't feel something from it. So to have the main villain, to have his motivation be that the Avengers were trying to save, like how he described it is like, well, he thought we were safe, and then my family was dead, and the Avengers were off doing some other shit.
Mm-hmm. And that like just thinking back on that, like what's so like, when he's giving his whole like backstory and whatnot, like I was already like, okay, so clearly this is the result of, like we're dealing with, this is the result of collateral damage, sort of like the hens coming home to roost sort of bit. But when he delivered that line where he was like, he's like, I found my family. Took me 2 days to find them. And, I found my dad still clenching on to my wife and this, that, and the other. And where were the Avengers? They went home.
Right.
I'm like, damn.
Mm-hmm. The same thing with the Maximoffs. They were trapped under that thing waiting for the bomb to go off.
Right.
And let's not forget, this all goes back to Tony. Because Tony's the one who made Ultron in the first place. That's why he feels so damn guilty about everything.
Yes.
Because he knows that his blood, his hands are on that. The blood is on his hands. And because he feels that guilt, he feels everyone has to feel that guilt. Whereas Captain America is a soldier, so he knows people die in war. And he knows that the end game is paid with good men dying, but you have to keep going on and doing the right thing. Whereas Tony, because he's privileged and he's human and he doesn't have to deal with that stuff, he sees like, I have to control everything. And if I don't control everything, I have to shut it down.
Yeah,
yep, and that ties right into what Cap tells him in Age of Ultron. He's like, every time someone tries to end a war before it starts, innocent people die.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I saw a meme that had like basically Captain America clapping back to Tony. Basically, when they say, New York, and then it's like when you think about it, it was that council or whatever that was sending it was a nuclear missile or something. Then you got Washington, D.C., that was Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. Then you got Sokovia, that was Tony and Ultron. It's like everything links back to the government, and that's how I always lean towards Cap's side. Because no matter what happened in each city, country, or whatever, the government was there the whole time.
Right. I think this goes back to the issue that I raised earlier about the military-industrial complex. I mean, look at how the Avengers so easily co-opted this calculus of collateral damage. I mean, I understand that there's going to be collateral damage in war, but somebody has to take account for that, right? I mean, you don't just get to violate the sovereignty of a country. Even if you do save thousands of people, kill a whole bunch of people, and then go back to the Avengers Tower and eat pancakes. Like, that's not how it works.
Pizza. Pizza. If it was Brian Michael Bendis writing it, it was gonna be pizza. Yeah. Pizza and hamburgers.
Shout out to Brian Michael Bendis.
But yeah. So and now I mean we've been sort of kind of taking tongue in cheek, taking shots at him all night long. But I mean, let's be real here. Like, how messed up was it for some of the cats over at Warner Brothers to go and see this and be like, oh, so that's how you do two major superheroes fighting each other in the backdrop of a collateral damage theme narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And look, somehow you can make an American icon modernized and not treat him like he has no personality and only can be sad all the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. And our billionaire playboy philanthropist could find out that, oh, guess what? Mommy got killed, and he doesn't immediately just go to dark and brooding. Actually, he goes to proactive, like, you fucking dead. I'm taking this dude out. That's it.
I don't care. He killed my mom. Like, that line right there is so much stronger than what
Martha?
Like, he's gonna kill Martha. You gotta find Martha. No! I don't care. He killed my mom.
This is what happens.
Any fictional human person would say if they just watch a video of the person that's standing right in front of them brutally kill their parents right in front of you.
What you were saying, Esper?
I was just gonna say, this is what happens when you combine New 52 with Elseworld. You knew it was gonna be a fucking catastrophe. There's too many elements.
And let's not to mention, this is how you introduce a whole bunch of new players into your shared universe without having them shoehorned in.
Put them on a flash drive.
Shit. They made, like, that's the thing too, like, people were being all hype about Wonder Woman, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't share when she came on screen, but look at what they did with T'Challa, and look at the little breadcrumbs they gave Wonder Woman. The fuck? It's incompetency. There is no other reason. You just don't know what the fuck you're doing. Period.
Yeah.
Man, matter of fact, they did such a good job with the characters in Civil War. People are asking for movies that weren't even slated. Like, now I'm hearing like, and while I bring this up, okay, like, people are asking for a Vision Scarlet Witch movie. And here's the thing. I remember after seeing Age of Ultron, I'm like, okay, we got Vision and Scarlet Witch. How are they going to make that happen? Did y'all get the feeling in this movie like,
oh yeah,
it's happening?
Yeah, and it worked a little bit. Well.
Dude.
Yeah, I was like, so we might actually get to see the Vision Scarlet Witch relationship. Like,
It's so bad that people are more interested in seeing what Black Panther's assistant has to offer than
For
fucking
real.
Superman.
Right?
Boo.
She was
Oh,
ready.
baby, boo.
She was a down ass chick for real though.
That's a ride or die. She's like, bitch, let me tell you
Yes.
again.
I was crying, laughing in the theater in that scene. Oh, he was like, I paid money to see that. I was like, I'm good too. Take my money now.
Like, let me get up in them DMs,
now-
girl.
And now, like, I remember Feige was talking about how they're committed to doing a Black Widow film now, which I actually feel kind of mixed about that, just because. Well,
If anybody's gonna do it, the Russos need to do it.
Right.
do you guys want to go ahead and transition over to the Phase 3 talk now, or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can.
Okay, so rumors and speculations abound. A Black Widow solo movie. I'm kind of mixed on that, only because I don't know what type of movie is it supposed to be. Are we going to be getting a current Black Widow movie? Because remember, we do have timestamps in these movies now. Like, these movies are all present day. So are we doing that, or are we going to do a prequel / origin? Because I always thought if they were going to do a solo Black Widow, that's what it was going to be. Because we know so little about her backstory.
We gotten a little glimpse at her origins up in Avengers: Age of Ultron, so it would be interesting for them to use some of that and integrate a little more.
I think they'll do both, because right now, Tony told her to leave because T'Challa told on her. So she's gone into hiding. So I think it can be present time with sprinkling in her past into it, since she's alone anyway.
Also, I would argue for a prequel, just because, like I said, there's so much about her backstory that we don't know, and there's so many different stories in the comics that they could use for that. Also, because I want to see how the hell does Black Widow and Hawkeye become best friends.
I want to see that.
Inconsistent writing right there.
Because you're talking about a Russian spy and
nobody.
And I was going to say an American-born agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
That too.
Hawkeye is not a nobody. He has a name.
I don't like Jeremy Renner, so I'm not really.
I loved him in Civil War.
As an actor, as an actor playing the character of Hawkeye, he's fine. But all the interviews he's done, he is such a douchebag.
Oh yeah.
So I don't. So funny.
No, he's a douchebag. But he's good as Hawkeye. Same thing. Like, I don't love Scarlett Johansson in anything else but Black Widow. So if she's gonna be in the next Black Widow movie, like, I'll take it. I would much prefer they put their money into something like Captain Marvel.
But we're getting Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But
how do you not like Scarlett Johansson?
Have you seen her other shit that she does? Like,
I love Scarlett Johansson.
She's gorgeous, and I think she's good as Black Widow. But I've seen, like, Under the Skin didn't like it, Jungle Book, her,
Lucy.
You don't like her? Oh my God!
Wait a minute. She doesn't even appear in her.
But do you realize? Exactly. But did you know this? No. Here's the thing. You know the voice that Joaquin Phoenix is responding to is not Scarlett Johansson. He was paired with a different actress, and then because Scarlett Johansson was more successful, they added her on. So he's not even responding to her voice.
I don't know.
That sucks.
So
I honestly don't care which narrative direction they go in, as long as the movie's good. I mean, Marvel has set such a high expectation for their movies now that it's like, I don't give a shit. Just make it good. Just be good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, because this is all speculation, right? This is all talk. They haven't announced anything yet, but I think they kind of behind the curve with that one. Like, we should have been gotten a Black Widow film, or like I said, at least a Black Widow Hawkeye film. We should have at least got at least one. We got Ant-Man before we got them.
Right?
Hey, get off it.
And not even Hank Pym. Like,
right, not even Hank. We got Scott.
Dude, CGI Hank Pym was amazing. I like CGI young Hank Pym. He was better than CGI Tony Stark.
Yeah.
that is true. Cause when I saw
That was
Ant-Man
creepy
and
as fuck.
they showed young Michael Douglas, I was like,
I
oh
was
shit,
like,
it's Gordon Gekko.
What do you guys think about the whole? I mean, I never really had a connection to her that much, anyway. But the whole thing with Pepper Potts.
Oh, Pepper left Tony.
they didn't have enough money
Yeah.
to give her, so they didn't put her in the film.
No, I
Well,
think Gwen
yeah,
is
that's
still
true.
tied
That
onto it,
too,
but
but like them separating, like Thor getting separated, and Natalie Portman ain't here no more. Like they're
go.
really separating them from, this is the love of my life.
But once again, it ties back into what I've always said about comic book superheroes and their civilian love interests.
Here we go.
It shouldn't work.
Yeah.
On a conceptual scale, it should not work because they're civilians. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard some people not care for the whole Bruce Banner Black Widow relationship in Avengers, but at least that would have made sense. Why? Because they're both heroes. They're both superheroes. But like Pepper was not going to put up with. Pepper was getting ready to leave Tony ass in which one was it? Was it 2 or 3?
Iron Man 3.
It was 3.
Iron Man 3?
Yeah. Tony had a post-traumatic episode in bed with Pepper, and she was like, "Yo ass is crazy."
She was tired of him when he was just Tony Stark. I don't know why she went with him for that much anyway.
And then Jane was like, "Oh, you can come down and save New York, but it took you a whole year before you pop back up to find me."
You know what? I'm fine. She can go because Tessa Thompson's gonna come and be the first Black woman in the MCU, about to get that dick. That's it.
I got issues with that though. I got look, nothing against Tessa Thompson. I'm not trying to take anything away from the girl, but no, fuck that. I'm gonna talk about Thor Ragnarok right now. Cause dude, that made me so mad. I'm like, okay, so Jane's gone. I don't have a problem with that because I never really cared for how they did Jane in the movies. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. But then they're like, oh, Tessa Thompson, female lead in Thor Ragnarok. I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. And new love interest. I said, but bullshit. So Sif don't mean. So why is even Sif in the movies?
That's a problem that they had from the beginning.
She could be for Bruce. Nobody's saying that. She could be for Bruce.
Oh wow, I would hate to see that.
Why is Sif? No, they said her character is supposed to be Thor's new love interest.
Oh,
I don't think Sif's coming back. That's the issue.
They can't. They couldn't get Jamie Alexander back.
I don't think they continued her contract. Yeah. I don't think she's going to be in the movie. That's the problem. I'm sure if she was going to stay on, they would have made it Sif, but she gone.
Well, they need to replace her then, because.
I just call I call shenanigans on that, because I'm like, dude, I've been waiting to see Sif and Thor get together because they're supposed to be together. Just saying.
I was rooting for Dr. Cho from Ultron, when she was like, "Is Thor gonna be at the party?" Like,
she was trying to get them too.
Yes.
Or at least, I mean, at least do the whole Enchantress bit, you know? But I mean, who is she even supposed to be in the movie?
She's one of the Valkyrie. She's a Valkyrie.
Oh, they confirmed that?
Yeah, you don't read the memos, Larry. She a Valkyrie.
I did. I read my articles on superherohype.com. Shout out to them, and they did not mention it in their article. So
on Comic Book Alliance, I think they said that she's gonna be Valkyrie.
Alrighty then. Thank you for the intel.
You're welcome. I met her too.
We really need to get the ball rolling with Thanos, though. Like, we do something besides sitting in the fucking hover round chair all the fucking time.
But
not every fucking casual fan knows who he is gonna sit by the after credit scenes to see him put on a damn Power Glove.
Dude, and you know what? That was so funny at the end of Age of Ultron, because I'm like, okay, I know we should get some type of Thanos, tie-in or whatever. But yeah, when he shows up and he puts on the gauntlet and he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. I'm like, well, why the fuck you didn't do that from Jump Street?
Right? Why And did you hear, like, you know how they were kind of like teasing that it was going to be like Darkseid in like the Justice League movie? It's not. It's going to be one of his underlings.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like,
Steppenwolf.
you can't even give me my OG nigga. You not even gonna give me Darkseid. I gotta wait for some nobody.
Well, because they probably that's because they probably wanted to avoid the whole they didn't want to get Darkseid and Thanos confused.
They got Civil War and Batman v Superman like 2 months apart. They'll live.
If you had a right
Yeah.
characters, that wouldn't be a concern, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be a concern, and it's an easy mix-up. I mean, they're both Jack Kirby's creations. One's blue, one's purple. They're both bulky. They're both gods. You know, they both monologue.
They both wear dresses.
Right.
How the fuck can you fuck up Frank Miller's material with Batman though? I was like, that material's been used so much and everybody's made it their own thing, but this nigga.
Because Frank Miller's Batman works as a solo Batman movie. Superman has no business being in like a full-blown Frank Miller because Frank Miller hates Superman and treats him like a dipshit.
It's
And
all
so-
political.
Yeah, but it's like, but those aspects of those things are so entrenched in the 80s, and that like Reaganomics issue that like Superman doesn't mean that to right now, and that's not what they're trying to do. So I just feel it was awkward because like
I just wish they would just use something else. They could have went with Dennis O'Neill's work with Batman. They could have did something else with that.
They couldn't do that. They couldn't do that because Zack Snyder doesn't know shit about comic books.
that's it.
Yeah.
And clearly he doesn't give a shit about Superman. Like, I know Larry liked Man of Steel. I don't know if you still believe that in your spirit, but
Wait, you know Larry did what?
I was just going to say, which Larry are we talking about?
Didn't you defend Man of Steel and say that you didn't think it was as bad as people said it was? Is my memory wrong?
You must be talking
I
about
think so.
Earth
No,
2 Larry.
no.
I could have sworn
I have gone on record numerous times saying Man of Steel can burn in hell.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I think I'm confusing with somebody else. But either way, like, that movie was dog shit, and it was clearly written by someone who thinks, you know what would make Superman cool? If he were more like Batman. And that's not what I came to
And
see.
he kills.
You would have gave us enough time to know the fucking character.
Talking about he would rather get Batman, when he was talking about Nolan's movies and when Batman was in jail, he would have had Batman get raped and stuff. And I'm like,
What?
yes! His type of dark and the kind of comic book movie, of course this was years ago, he didn't say this, this or anything like that, but his kind of dark is people getting raped, sex, kills, that's what he wants to see in comic book movies.
That whole sucker punch sequence where he has Batman doing guns and shit. I'm just looking at this and like, so which boy next to me is masturbating to this scene? Because I know this wasn't made for me who actually gives a shit about Batman. Because I was like, this is some stupid bullshit. And it's
On a more positive note, not that I want to, not that I don't not that I don't want to, it's not that I don't want, I don't want to just break up, this DC bash fest, you know what I'm saying? But I do have an agenda, and I'd like to be in a positive mindset, because if I start talking about DC, I'm just going to get mad. So I will say this, though, on a brief note, did y'all hear what happened last night? Supergirl coming to the Arrowverse?
Yeah.
Don't care about that world, except for Flash. They can cross over.
I love Flash the most. It took me a while, but I did get on board with Supergirl.
I like Supergirl.
And
Arrow
I found it funny. On the same night in Legends of Tomorrow, we have confirmed the existence of aliens in the Arrowverse.
Dude.
Enjoy that.
I didn't watch last night's Legends. I gotta watch it. I didn't watch it yet.
Marvel bias anyway, so I'm not really concerned with any of the shit that DC does.
I'm sorry, man. Because that whole Supergirl thing, I think has they were talking about the negotiations. I think was first reported a week or two ago, and I was like, you know what? That would be so cool because that show is too popular to justify cancellation, but switching it to the CW rather than CBS would be a much better move. Because honestly and truly, I think it would actually perform better on CW.
Probably.
It would, because of what you were saying about Spider-Man, about how there's that disconnect. CBS has that, it has that older people disconnect. So They're not watching it on there. It needs to go on CW. But
And see,
CW, it was their fault in the first place because they wanted to sell it to CW. CW said no.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it went on CBS.
All
and
I
see,
know is that
and
they
here's
better not cut Jimmy's time now that he's on the CW, because we know that channel don't like black people.
and here's the funny thing though. Like, I'm curious if that show is just gonna take over, cause like if any of y'all saw my Supergirl Flash review. When they did the crossover episode, I mentioned the numbers in that review. Like, Supergirl puts up like it averages like 6 mil an episode in viewers, 6 million viewers an episode. Flash, 3. Arrow, 2. So it doubles Flash viewers and triples Arrow's viewers.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, seeing like what would happen once the show is on CW. Like, I mean, it's going to put the boys to shame.
You can't expect that many crossovers though, because I mean the only person that's going to be able to go over there is going to be Flash and maybe Wally and Jesse Quick when they finally get their powers.
But
she's
that's
on Earth, whatever.
But see, here's the cool thing about that though. The crossover, they went to an alternate Earth which had Kara and everything in that show. But you got to remember, there are infinite Earths. So Kara has a counterpart on Earth 1, and you roll with me with this because the shit don't make no sense. But
I just want to see how Lara's reaction will be if Tom Welling resurfaces as Superman. Would you have an orgasm?
Oh my God, I would love that so much.
It needs to happen. There is no reason that should not happen now. You have it on the CW.
We already have a person that represented Superman in the movie universe, so why not have a person?
They need to stop with that, the messaging, because I can't take that. Every time that
hey, cuz.
Hey, cuz, are you kidding me?
You can't call this.
His computer, it's the messaging his cousin. Get out of here.
You know what would be bomb? This I could totally buy if they still didn't want to do. Well, no, because it's gonna be a second season though. It's not a reboot of the series.
Yeah.
Fuck. That ruins every damn thing. Because they could have totally just rewrote it to where it's like, oh, this is Kara on Earth 1. But instead of the whole she showed up late and Clark grew up and he's Superman, they could be like, no, they showed up at the right time. Clark's a baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that way there wouldn't be a need to have Superman because like he's there, but he's an infant.
Yeah, technically she is older than him anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and then she could set the precedent for being the first super. Yeah, so they could.
I like that.
Could do that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Man, go over there to CW now, man.
I'm waiting for my fucking phone call, man.
I like
petition, man. Let's go ahead and create a petition. Somebody in the live screen create a petition for that shit.
No, dude, no. You know what I'm gonna start doing? Like real shit. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm just gonna start sending them spec scripts. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start sending them. I'm gonna send them a spec script a week until they finally cave. I'm just gonna start sending spec scripts.
Don't forget the love triangles. They love love triangles.
Oh, they love love triangles.
They hate Felicity.
Mm.
I don't mind looking at her.
Well, no, I don't.
Don't get me started on this. I don't want to get mad. Don't get me started on that.
So now that we've pretty much just taken like the DC break or whatever.
Detour.
Yeah.
The detour.
Let's get back to Marvel.
Happy things.
Yeah. Moving on to the Marvel Phase 3. Okay, so all right. So get this. All right. So Marvel Phase 3. I think it has been confirmed. All of the announced films are Phase 3. Like officially, these are all of the next 11.
Yeah.
I think it is, are all considered the Phase 3 movies. And there has been no announcements of any films after the ones that have already been announced so far. Now, like I said, in terms of like rumors going around, we talked about a potential Black Widow movie. And Robert Downey Jr. did an interview last week, I think, where he hinted at a potential Iron Man 4.
Yeah.
Then again, this came the day before it was announced that he was going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
So, okay, that. I think they did. We already know Ragnarok is Hiddleston's last film as Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think they did say Ragnarok is going to be the last Thor film.
Thanks.
Okay. Now I don't know about Captain America. Don't know if his trilogy is wrapped up.
From what I hear, that's how they're doing things. Like each standalone film gets like 3 apiece.
And then they close it out. Yeah. See that would make sense because it would open up. Because it opens up the slate for more of the other characters getting their own films. Also, I do want to know this though: where the hell is my goddamn Hulk sequel?
Dude.
We gotta get the continuity.
No, they can't do that though. Yeah.
They're sitting on their fingers. I believe they could buy the intellectual properties if they want to, man. The motherfuckers are buying everything. They bought me. Shit.
Wait, intellectual property?
I don't think isn't it Universal? I don't think Universal will give it up. I don't think Universal is going to give it up. It's
wait. Universal still has the rights, the film rights to Hulk.
Yeah.
That's why he can only appear in other people's movies.
They're not interested.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought, You know what? Though? That makes a lot of sense when you take in consideration of the Phase 1 films. That was the only one Universal put out.
And and another thing is Mark Ruffalo was Mark Ruffalo was the guy that they wanted, but Universal didn't want them to do that because they felt like they needed to have a big name face to be Bruce Banner. So I think that they want more control, so they're just gonna stick to having them in their own little shindig,
you know. They want more control.
And what did I've always said when it came to comic book character castings, it's like, oh, you want a popular face? It's like, motherfucker, they will become a face when you put them in the role.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We see Captain America when we see Chris Evans.
Yes.
Dude.
Well, nobody sees Human Torch. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. I forget about that.
We just see Michael B. Jordan.
I just had this conversation with someone a couple of days ago when I was like, oh yeah, man, Chadwick Boseman, that dude did such a great job, but I knew he'd do a good job because I seen all this other movies. Like, who's that? I was like, Black Panther dude. It was like, oh yeah, that dude was fucking beast. And I'm like,
well, speaking of Michael B. Jordan, he's gonna be
Panther.
It's so good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. What are you gonna say though?
Yeah, you can do it though, because I've been talking too much anyway.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say now that we have Ryan Coogler on, they're gonna be having Michael B. Jordan play in the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, I read that today, and I heard he's supposed to be. The speculation is he'll be up for the villain role, which has me thinking, who's the villain?
Right. I thought it was gonna be Claw.
Y'all better not say Man-Ape.
No.
He too small for Man-Ape. Love Michael B. Jordan.
Did you see him in Creed?
I wanted him to be his best friend.
I thought it was gonna be like a young T'Challa or something, but I was like, no, that nigga is too fucking charismatic to be a young T'Challa.
Yeah, they're too close. They're at least in looks wise, they're too close because I know Chadwick is like 40-something years old. So.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is 30.
Yeah.
But okay, so how about this?
Does anybody have the Phase 3 memorized? The whole schedule memorized?
I do.
I've been making myself remember.
I don't have the dates memorized, but I know the order.
No.
Like it's supposed to be.
The order.
It's Doc Strange, Guardians 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, then
Black Panther,
Infinity War,
Ant-Man and the
Wasp, Captain Marvel.
Oh, is it part 2 and then Captain Marvel?
Wait, I thought they put no. I know that's how it was originally supposed to come out because Captain Marvel and Inhumans were after, but I thought they moved part 2 of Infinity War to be after Captain Marvel. I could be wrong on that. I thought they moved. Maybe they didn't move it. Because they done moved so much shit around to begin with. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp and Spider-Man: Homecoming wasn't even part of the original plan.
Yeah, they had. Yeah.
I thought
At least
Black
we
Panther was
get
supposed to be
Black
next.
Panther pushed up though.
Mm.
So did they flip them or not?
The last article I saw, I had Captain Marvel last.
Okay, well, it could be. So yeah, so of that slate though, which one are you all looking forward to the most?
From Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
I want to see Peter Parker.
I want to see that too. I'm a little bummed about the news that Feige said though. He said he's not going to be using any other Netflix heroes in his movies.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I was
don't
like,
know
nigga.
why.
Snobbery.
It's like, and I found it funny too. I just found out that scene where Kingpin was talking to Madame Gao, where they're on a rooftop and they're in this like kind of Asiatic place. That's the same scene where Peter Parker was talking to Mary Jane when she's wearing that geisha outfit and he flips off the roof or whatever.
Yeah. When he saves her at the ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't recognize it till later.
Dude, I immediately caught that. I'm like, that's that fucking rooftop from Spider-Man 1.
It was like, man, it's like y'all just being esoteric as fuck with these.
Look. Here's my thing with the Netflix thing. Like, I would put it to you like this. Like, the fact that the idea of keeping both of those universes separate, it made sense for a while, especially since, because like we don't have Avengers Tower anymore. They moved Avengers Tower out of New York. So it's like, okay, we don't even have any of the Marvel heroes in the movies operating in New York. And then you throw Spider-Man into the mix. And I'm like, now you done fucking opened up that can of worms. Because not only are you putting Spider-Man into the universe now, but Spider-Man is a street-level crime fighter.
Exactly, and his rogues gallery of villains, they're top tier, and you have lower tier villains too that are street gangs.
So it's like, and how many crossovers does Spider-Man do with Daredevil?
Right, they're besties.
Exactly.
So it's like
they're gonna completely separate that.
It's fucked up that we got introduced to all these characters when we were little with that Spider-Man 90s cartoon.
That is true. That's how I got introduced to Daredevil. Was in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
When he becomes his lawyer.
Yep, Punisher and fucking Blade. I didn't know all these characters back then.
I would love them to somehow incorporate Blade into the Netflix series.
Well, they said, I think he was one of the ones that was up for consideration for a future series.
Yeah.
They should. I mean, let's be real. Blade technically started off having the successful Marvel movies. Like when they say that Deadpool was the first successful R-rated Marvel movie, I'm like,
right.
Blade.
Exactly.
Yeah, Blade.
Right.
It's gonna be a long fight.
But then again, keep in mind, like I found it so fucking funny nowadays when I watch Blade like on television, because at the start of the movie it will be like Touchstone. And then the very next thing you see is Marvel. And I'm like, that fucking Marvel banner wasn't there.
Exactly.
That wasn't there.
Yeah.
They appropriated that shit. They like, this is ours.
Exactly.
Cause back in 1997, it was like, oh, you remember this was the same year as fucking Batman and Robin. It's like, oh, that's a comic book film? Like, boy. In other words, Blade was the in the closet comic book film hit of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say The Crow too. But then again, The Crow didn't really get popular until it hit video. So, commercial success in theaters, but it didn't become a hit until it went to video. But so yeah, but anyway, going back to what I was saying about like the whole Netflix thing. Yeah, I think before Spider-Man, I was okay with the idea because those universes are so different. But once you threw Spider-Man in there, dude, I'm like, there's no reason why we shouldn't get some type of collaboration.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Go ahead.
And I think that if they had made Spider-Man older...
No, go ahead.
If they had made Spider-Man older, and seeing as how at the end of... Is everyone seen Daredevil, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of season 2, you have Matt kind of at the cusp of what he wants to do. like teaming up with Spider-Man, like a 20-year-old Spider-Man at that point would have been an excellent way of integrating those two worlds if they had chosen to make Spider-Man older.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this though. I heard this counter argument said, and I actually agree with this, that I don't know if it was Feige, but it was one of the execs over at Marvel was like, one reason it's a good idea not to mix those is because the last thing we want to do is have a kid running out of a Spider-Man movie in theaters and going to go watch a rated R Daredevil on Netflix. And I'm like, okay, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Sounds like something.
Yeah, they don't want to mix the ratings. They don't want to mix the ratings.
So I'm like, you know, because the Netflix, that's for grown folks. And I mean, as much dark material and mature material as we gotten in the films, they are still relatively family friendly for the most part.
Yeah.
So that is a legitimate that's a legitimate concern, I think.
Yeah. Another thing, I heard Vincent D'Onofrio said that he was game for it, but I'm like, y'all gonna have to up the ante on that nigga's strength though, because y'all are just holding him back strength wise.
Right.
What, you talking about Kingpin?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think at this point they're trying to make him superhuman strength. I think they're just trying to make him really, really strong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, if you're gonna be in Spider-Man, you gotta be stronger than that.
You're gonna get some of those pappy pills that the guy from Jessica Jones had.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'll say though, like I mean, I think I've already said this. Like the prior to Civil War, I still think the movie I was most excited for was Doc Strange. But Doc Strange is happening, so it's happening. So now it's like, no, it's Black Panther. I'm totally stoked for that film. I can't wait to see it. I'm so mad I gotta wait 2 years to see it. So, but no, I'm ecstatic about Black Panther.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't breathe over Ryan Coogler's neck too much and makes him run away like they did with Edgar Wright.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. Well, I don't know. See, dude, that's one of my main things about Ant-Man. Like, I didn't hate Ant-Man, but I didn't particularly like Ant-Man. I thought Ant-Man was just an average film. Now, again, you gotta. I mean, dude, this was the first film after Age of Ultron, and granted, I mean, Age of Ultron wasn't great, but before that, Winter Soldier, Guardians, both in the same year. So I'm like, dude, like that Marvel bar is set, and then now with Civil War, like that bar is set so bloody high, and Ant-Man was just like another run-of-the-mill film. So like the whole time I was watching that, I'm like, dude, what would have Edgar Wright's version been like?
I always wondered that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't help but think like it would have. I'm not saying it would have necessarily been better, but it definitely would have been different, I think, and much more intriguing.
It would have been different, but I know that his version, it definitely wouldn't have tied in to the whole basically the whole arc of the phases.
Yeah, from what I read,
he was working on that for like 8 years or something.
Huh.
That's a long time, man.
He wanted to make Ant-Man for a long time. So when he brought his vision to the table, it's like Marvel's like, we love it, but it does not connect to the arc of what we've been building here. So,
which is so funny because if you think about it, neither did Guardians. The only thing that tied Guardians in. Though. Yeah, and an Infinity Stone. That's it. That's the only two things that tied Guardians into the rest of the MCU.
I wanted Thanos to hand fucking Ronin's ass to him to do something. They just got rid of his hype man.
Dude, I'm like, I think they need to do some serious work in order to get the whole because the little post-credit scene tidbits putting Thanos and an Infinity Stone in here and there, like after Guardians, it didn't really work because that was so shoehorned in to Age of Ultron, and it's really fucking evident because they don't even mention it in Civil War.
Right.
something to
Yeah.
be worried about too,
It's
because
just like
fighting.
a little tiny hint when Vision is explaining how he has a stone, he doesn't really know what the stone, is for, where they come from. He doesn't know the origins, but it controls him. So it's like just a little tiny thing right there, but
Yeah,
Like
like
I don't like. I mean, not granted. I think that the whole Infinity, like I think overall the whole story will work because because what you have in essence when you look at the Avengers films and when you look at the different phases, you have a 3-act play. The first one is the formation of the team. The second one is the breaking of the team, and then the third one is supposed to be the team banding back together against this threat that requires them all to join forces. So I
yeah.
get that. My thing is this though, that not doing like if it wasn't for that shoehorned little fucking subplot in Age of Ultron, like how did nobody think like, yo, Thor tripped the fuck out on some acid talking about they supposed to be an alien invasion, or we just gonna ignore that while we fight each other?
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
Like
Well,
like the like the boy left Earth.
They was like, they don't even like Thor.
he's so
You know what I'm saying?
underplayed.
And it's like if y'all think we fooling, one of these said stones is in that mofo's forehead. So like the fact that everyone just ignored it, like what the fuck?
It wasn't the immediate threat they had to deal with that movie.
Yeah, they got to clean up a lot of shit Joss Whedon did with fucking Age of Ultron.
But that wasn't Josh Whedon's fault. That was the studio's fault. The studio
Yeah, they
forced.
wanted that. They wanted Hot Tub Time Machine in there. They're the one
Yeah,
that wanted it in there.
they
Oh yeah,
forced that subplot into Age of Ultron because you could tell because it wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to fucking be there.
Mhm.
I mean, it
So-
just worries me though. Like it worries me because Feige says he's already saying that he's not going to be going dark with the villains, but we're talking about Thanos here.
Yeah, the man who has a heart on for death.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
Um,
I think they're treating Thanos kind of like Kingpin in season 1, where it's like, especially if people don't know, who Kingpin is or whatever. You just see this man. He's a business mogul and whatever. He's doing all this and that. And then once you get that episode where he's just smashing that dude in the car, it's like, what? Like, I think that they want to have that super calm Thanos, and then he's just gonna come in and smack
But
it.
we're a core audience though. We already know about these things, but the casuals outnumber us, and they still don't know what the fuck Thanos is.
here's my thing. Going back to that whole comment you made about like not going too dark with the films. Do the films really need to be any darker than Civil War was? I don't think so.
Not necessarily.
Like I think that's as dark as it needed to get. I mean,
Yeah.
and when you say dark, I mean, what else could we do now?
Oh no, I'm just thinking from like a comic book standpoint.
Get raped like Zack Snyder wants.
No, I mean, when I say dark, I'm talking about like I'm talking about from a narrative standpoint. I'm not talking about gratuitous. Because
Okay.
you could always get more gratuitous. Gratuitous does not equal dark. Dark, dark is when like if Peter would have got killed in that battle, that's dark.
Right. Yeah.
Or if I'm trying to think what else.
Like if Hawkeye had died in Age of Ultron,
Yes.
like he was supposed to.
Yes. Because Marvel, Disney's been very adamant about you can't kill off the heroes. So,
Well,
and if Rhodey would have went down in Civil War, that would have been dark.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I would have cried.
Yeah.
I mean, I always had a
But
hate
that
towards
scene,
Johnson though.
man, that scene was played so good because everybody was just like, oh, it's Bucky the one that shoots him. And when you just see Falcon just goes out the way, and then Rhodey goes down, and Falcon's just like, I'm sorry. And then Tony just like, get the fuck out, blast.
Right?
It's like,
Cold-blooded.
oh my god.
But so I'm just trying to figure out how. I'm trying to figure out exactly how do we go now from Civil War to Infinity War, Because I still don't think they've done a good enough job really setting up Thanos.
They haven't.
Unless they just decide to like bring him in and do his whole shebang in Infinity War
Well,
1.
I think he's gonna be more prominent in Guardians 2, and who knows, he might tie in. He could tie in Ragnarok also. But
Probably.
So.
And then the other thing too, don't we have like 2 more stones we need to find?
I thought it was one more. Wasn't it one more?
No, it's 2 more. Because we got
We got the ether. We got
the ether, the what they call it, scepter. My ass, it's the mind stone.
Yeah.
But no, because what is it? It's the mind stone, the mind gem, the power gem.
I can't remember the names. That's why I just go for the items.
Okay, mind stone, scepter, ether, and tesseract. 4. So there's still what, the soul? I think it's the soul gem.
Yeah.
And the
What's the one in Guardians?
power
That's
gem.
it. Yeah, it's the power.
Okay.
That's the power gem. What's the last one? Is it the It's not the reality one, huh? Because I think that's what the.
Oh yeah, because Doctor Strange didn't that come up in Doctor Strange?
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, that might be the last one. I thought the yeah, we're gonna get a stone in Doctor. Okay, yeah, so the reality gem might be in Doctor Strange. Hell, they might even make that his amulet. It wouldn't surprise me. Cause what better way to incorporate him in Infinity War if he had an Infinity Stone?
Exactly.
I'm just ready for it. Like I'm so ready for it. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just so ready for this one because we haven't really dealt with like dimensional story gimmicks yet up in the Marvel MCU.
Oh, that's another thing I want to ask y'all about. Here's the thing, because I was stoked for Doc Strange because I'm like, oh yes, finally we get to introduce the supernatural. I don't get the feel that it's supernatural though. It doesn't feel like it's supernatural.
It reminded me of Inception, honestly. When I was looking at some of the scenes, like when they do the thing where you see the building switch, I'm like, isn't that Inception?
Don't forget about that dove step.
It feels like we're dealing with interdimensional forces, but even that is a form of science fiction. It's not supernatural. Nothing's magical about it.
They're probably going to do that bullshit of like, it's what science would be if they had a word for it. That kind of thing is like, magic is just science that people can't explain.
Yeah, because they tried to do that with Thor. Now, but see,
I don't think it's not going to work with the ancient one. Trying to explain science.
Here's the thing, though. The reason why that works with Thor, though, is because Asgardians are aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it works with Thor. But with Doctor Strange, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I got the feel like I don't see no magic.
That's one thing about Marvel, though. They always give you that certain feel that you think you're going to experience in the movie, but it always ends up being something different.
Yeah. That's why I can't wait to see the official trailer.
Right.
Wait for Doctor Strange?
Mm-hmm.
That first trailer wasn't a trailer?
Well, that was like the little teaser one that no, they don't show you no story yet until we get the official one, which should be in a few months.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like you get more of the story of what's probably gonna happen.
That's a long ass teaser.
I know, right?
Like that
they're
teaser.
getting longer and longer.
That teaser showed more than I thought a teaser should.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want magic. I like magic. It would be really nice to have magic in the. No, wait. We do fucking have magic. How else do you explain the fucking hand in Daredevil being immortal?
Yeah.
That's Asian magic. You know that don't count, Larry.
Like, there's
you know if it comes from a different culture that it ain't real magic to these people. It's like it's some mysticism thing. They're like, I don't know.
Well, if they had cast it accordingly, wouldn't that have been the ancient one?
Yeah, well, they came up with some bullshit excuse about China. I'm like, all right.
What was the excuse? Because I never read that interview.
They were saying that because Tibet is not acknowledged by China as an actual country, that it would alienate the Chinese base. And this is the thing, too. This is what the guy said. He said, if we cast another Asian person, it would dishonor the nationality of the character. So you made her a white woman?
Now, let's be honest. We would not care unless China wasn't the biggest fucking supporter of these films. They wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. They wouldn't give a fuck because Puerto Ricans play Mexicans, Mexicans play, Cubans, like...
So wait a minute. They chose not to cast an Asian in the role as to not offend Asians?
Not to offend China specifically.
China.
And the other excuse was that the Asian one is such, like, this type of being that the person doesn't need to be distinguished as one race or whatever, Like,
they always say that bullshit.
They did the same thing with the Mandarin. That's the reason why they made the Mandarin.
Well, they also said that, like, they were afraid, like, the ancient one is based on, like, these, like, racist Fu Manchu histories. It's like, yeah, well, that's why you upgrade it and make it not that way. That's what y'all getting paid to do.
Exactly. Like freaking Luke Cage was a blaxploitation superhero, and now
tiara.
Right, Power Man.
Yeah, and now he's a fucking Hell Kitchen heartthrob. I'm sorry, that bugs me about Luke Cage. Like, I did not like the way he was, like, in Jessica Jones. I'm like, you eye candy, bruh. Like,
I loved it.
I know you do. That was the point.
You get chills all the time.
But for me, I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be down with this. You just there for the goodies, bro. Like,
he gonna get his own show, and then you can have all the eye candy you want, because Misty Knight and all them gonna be with their titties out, with their tank tops, and then you ain't gonna have shit to say, Larry. You gonna be sitting there like, yeah, she had depth. She was a great female character. Don't give me that look, Larry.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I will not confirm nor deny what my reaction
she gonna be your favorite character, Larry. We both know that.
Wait, who?
If she got big titties, she gonna be your favorite. We all know this.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay, we'll see. I'm just playing.
Cause that's a lie, because Karen don't have no titties, and I love Karen in there.
Yeah, I love me some Karen.
I love Karen, but that's because she gets shit done. She don't
like
do none of that bullshit of like, oh, she cannot know his identity but still do things. Shocking. How does that work?
I still don't know how Karen hasn't figured it out though. Like,
for real.
It's kind of glaringly. Season 2 made it glaringly obvious.
I feel like she knows. She just wants him to tell her, like, can we stop fucking around? Like, she makes it very clear, like, I'm not stupid. I know you're doing some shit, but I want you to tell me if you say you care about me.
Or you know what? Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I can believe that Karen hasn't figured it out yet because she does not know how. She doesn't know Matt has powers. That's the thing. If she knew that Matt could actually see, then she'd piece it together, no problem. But she still thinks he's blind. Mm-hmm. So, okay, it would be very hard to believe a blind person could do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the Phase 3 talk. Yeah, I'm going to assume that most of the setup for Infinity War is going to be done in Doc Strange, Ragnarok, and Guardians 2. Especially since, and once again, this is weird. Why would Captain Marvel take place after Infinity War? That would be one of the main films I think you could do the whole intergalactic world building.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get why.
But I think they just want to introduce her like T'Challa, and then she gets her own movie after.
So meaning she would still be in Infinity War.
Yeah, or Part 2.
Mhm. I think it was confirmed by Kevin Feige, like last week or something.
That she will be.
No, the Russos. I think it was the Russos that confirmed it.
Yeah, that's just odd. But then again, who knows? Captain Marvel origin could lead into the Kree scroll, but we can't do the Kree scroll thing, can we?
We can do the Kree because they're already in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, we can do Kree because they're from, they're in Guardians. So
Right. Yeah, and Marvel is a Kree.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we can't do the Kree scroll thing.
No, we can't do no scrolls.
Because if we could do the Kree scroll thing, then we could do Secret Invasion.
Do we think they're ever going to introduce Namor?
Don't know.
Because I was thinking, like, because he and Black Panther had that kind of antagonistic relationship, and they're also, like, a secret world, I wouldn't be surprised if they mentioned anything about him in there if they were going to eventually make him show up. Because I kept thinking, like, they prioritize Ant-Man, and I would much prefer to see Namor be a sassy bitch.
I think they're waiting to see how Aquaman's going to do first.
Why, though? They got Khal Drogo. Like, they don't have to...
Because I don't know if they're entirely on board with the whole, like, I don't think they're confident that people would be on board with an underwater merman superhero. Think about this. Why, with all the success that Marvel Studios has had, we're pretty much talking about these people could put shit on a stick and release it and people would go see it.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a female solo film yet.
True.
So yeah, I think which is also, that's the same reason why I think like they were smart in waiting this long before they decided to do, because I think they're waiting to see how Wonder Woman does before they hop on the superheroine bandwagon.
But the thing is this too, is that Wonder Woman doesn't have to do shit to make money because that's already got an inherited fan base. I mean, Batman v Superman.
Tell an animated film.
I bought it.
Low blow.
No, that's not a low blow. That's the truth. That is the truth. That film is as good of a Wonder Woman adaptation that you can make within that time frame, and it didn't sell. And this was early in the DC animated film bit. Like, although like those first 4 films sold pretty well, but hers did not.
I bought it.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't promoted good enough.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Because like they promoted, I remember they promoted the shit out of Superman Doomsday. Yeah. I saw commercials for that.
Yeah, I saw that all the time. I saw commercials. I didn't see commercials for Wonder Woman until I bought the other DVDs, and that's the only time I would see the commercials for Wonder Woman was in those.
I didn't see commercials for Wonder Woman until it came out. Until the week it came out. But no, I like, especially after Batman v Superman. Like I am not confident in that Wonder Woman movie at all.
Really?
I'm serious.
I think that there's enough women out there. Like, the Ghostbusters movie, too. Like, I don't think that movie looks like shit anyway. But there are so many people who are like, we need this to do well because otherwise, like, they're not going to try and do any more women-led type of things that I think there's enough people who, like, want to see that. And with Wonder Woman, like, everyone said that she was the biggest draw for Batman v Superman. Like, most people who went to go see that movie, a big chunk of them came because they wanted to see her.
Yeah.
They better make sure they get a good pop because the internet shows no fucking mercy.
I mean, look, I'll be honest though, and I didn't want to bring this into my live stream, but let's face it, no, real shit though, because when we can sit here and we can talk about how well Marvel does, but by comparison, you gotta talk about DC, especially when Marvel is doing what DC wants to do better than they doing it.
It's hard not to bring them
all
up.
day.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult not to mention it. But I'm gonna be real.
They need a Kevin Feige. That's what they need.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Get Tim Miller. I mean, get somebody out there. Bruce Timm. I mean, what did I say, Tim Miller? But get Bruce Timm or somebody.
And that's the thing, because DC dominates with their animated content. Like,
yes,
they made icons. I mean, the voice of Batman is going to be Kevin Conroy until the day I die in my grave. You know what I mean? Like, they managed to do all of that and do Justice League Unlimited and make all these great arcs. Like, why is it that you can do all of these in these 30-minute kids movies, but you cannot make a mature adult fucking live-action movie?
Well, I'll tell you. Number one, because Bruce Timm, and number two, because Bruce Timm.
Oh, let's give praise. Let's give praise to Andrea Romanos too for her voice casting expertise.
Mm-hmm.
True, but here's the thing though. Most I know Bruce Timm went on record saying this at one point. I don't know if he still feels this way, but at one point he went on record saying he didn't want to do live action. He didn't want to, and I think most of the animated crews are content on staying with the animation, with the animation. Why? Because if they're not making the animation, who's going to do it?
True.
You know, many of the people like Alan Burnett, and what's the other cat writer for the DC animated films? I'm trying to remember his name. But yeah, them and Andrea and like Tim and Deanie, like most of them, like those films only fucking come out because they're the ones pushing the shit to get done a lot of the time. So
we haven't
if those
really seen them though. We haven't really seen Bruce Timm resurface until that Batman. What's that other one he had? That other Batman in the Monsters movie or whatever.
Oh, Gods and Monsters. Wait, are you talking about Justice League Gods and Monsters?
Yeah, Justice League Gods and Monsters, and he's resurfacing for this Killing Joke. He was out of action when all this other shit was coming out.
Yeah, but he did, because wasn't he executive producer on Under the Red Hood? And
I'm talking about the resurgence of these New 52 animated films with Batman, Son of Batman, and all that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't nobody want to talk about those are shit. Those
That's
shit.
probably why he has no involvement in it, because he don't want to do that.
DC has been taking the L's, man.
Those are shit. But anyway, but so like I said, like the main issue is that most of the people in charge of the animation want to stick to the animation, and you can't really blame them, because chances are, if those people aren't in those positions, that animation is going fucking in flames instantly.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of keeping the right people, you know, in the right positions.
And I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I think what DC needs is to have people who care about, who like comic books and like comic book movies. Because, like, I know people worship the Nolan movies, and I think that they are good movies, but my biggest problem with them is that Christopher Nolan wants to make Batman movies while hating the fun things about Batman. Like, the stuff that he said about not wanting to include all the rogues and the stuff, like, he doesn't want to make comic book movies. That's what the fuck these things are. Like, I don't mind things being dark, and I don't mind things, and I don't think you have to appeal to fanboys 100% either, but you have to at least have a love and respect for the source material and what those characters have meant over years to make good movies about them now.
Understand the fucking fundamentals.
But I don't necessarily agree with that. Because here's the thing: you could have love for a character, and or you could bring an interpretation of a character into the source material and still end up with a good product. So this is what I mean. Like, you said that Nolan, you know, he loves Batman and he wanted to make a good Batman movie, but he had no interest in making a comic book film, right?
No, I said that he wants to make Batman movies, but he doesn't want to make comic book Batman movies. He wants his movies to be action films and those thrillers. He doesn't want them to be lumped in with those kind of comic booky movies.
But I mean, but his approach still works with Batman. And so even even beyond that, like Nolan could have fucking done Daredevil easy with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
You know, he could have done Heroes for Hire with his eyes closed. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think you necessarily. I used to believe, like, oh, you got to have somebody who's in love with the material and this. I don't even think that's the truth. You just need people who are fucking good at their job.
Right.
That's the other part. Like, it shouldn't just. I think it should be unison. It shouldn't be just be one or the other. You don't have to be a fanatic, but you have to know how to write and also understand where the characters come from. Because that's the problem with the for Man of Steel, is that they don't understand Superman.
Oh wait, what you say, Gar?
You don't need to love the source material. You just need to have deference for it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but to go back to the whole DC bit, I mean, like I've heard, I think what was it? Was it Nerdist? I think it was Nerdist.com. They did a whole video on it, and I actually sent it to Hugo because Hugo and me have been saying this shit. I think for the last, I think since Man of Steel, we've been saying this shit like, oh, they want to create like the first time we heard, oh, they're doing a shared universe too. Who's in charge? Oh well, because it's Zack Snyder and who's in charge? Like we called this shit years ago that until you put somebody at the helm, this shit is gonna be shit. It's gonna be shit. And not only is it gonna be shit, it's gonna be 2 different flavors. It's gonna be 4, 5, 6, 7 different flavors of shit. You're gonna have some brown shit, you're gonna have some green shit, you're gonna have some yellow shit, you're gonna have some
light brown shit.
Well, I was going to say terracotta. You're going to have some terracotta shit. You're going to have some raw sienna. You're going to have some burnt sienna. It's going to be all different shades of shit.
That's why I'm not trying to paint a negative. That's why I'm really not trying to paint a negative thing on Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman because of Zack Snyder not being involved like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is true because I think, what is it, Wonder Woman and Aquaman and The Flash, though they lost their director already. But
yeah.
But I think those were the 3 films Schneider wasn't supposed to be involved in.
Yeah. Suicide Squad. He's not involved in Suicide Squad, right?
No.
I thought he was an executive producer.
Oh, I don't know.
They get him as far away from any film. He's like the Earth 2 for Michael Bay. He's like Michael Bay Earth 2. The motherfuckers went to the same fucking school too for fucking filmmaking, film directing.
I mean, look here. I mean, like I said before, I don't think Schneider's a bad director. I just think he's a terrible writer.
Yeah.
You know, like here's the thing. Here's the thing, yo. Let's be real. Be real about this. Because what is Schneider good at, right? He's good at adaptation, right? And we know he can't write to save his life. But if everything is plotted out for him, he can make the beautiful film, right? If Schneider was over in Marvel, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No.
We would be singing that man's praise. Oh my God, I don't know what they would have given him, but whatever film he did would have been fantastic, and we would have completely ignored the fact that he had nothing to do with it. It was the studio making all the calls. It was the guy who actually wrote the script making all the calls, and Schneider just did what he was told.
There you go.
Yeah. I heard somebody asked the question, it said, what if they changed it to where Ben Affleck was the director of the Justice League and Zack Snyder was the cinematographer? I was like, but that would never happen.
Yeah, no, because Ben, I forget the guy's name who's his director of photography, but he likes using the same DP. So I highly doubt he would ever accept Schneider as his DP. He never do that. But I don't know, if they offered him enough money, he might. But we already know, like, he's executive producer on Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong on this, but I feel pretty damn certain. I'm pretty sure if the hiccups that are rumored going on over at Warner Brothers are true, and I'm pretty damn sure if Suicide Squad flops, or God forbid, let Wonder Woman flop, they pulling Schneider from Justice League and they gonna give it to Ben. I'm calling that now.
They should do that
For part 2, though, because they're already starting on part 1. But for part 2, yeah.
Like they haven't gotten directors to go back in and redo a film. Hell, Matthew Vaughn was the one who finished Fantastic Four. Josh Trank had a breakdown on fucking set and couldn't even finish the film. They had to bring Vaughn in to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's for like creative control.
I think Warner Brothers they don't want to paint that negative light. So it's like, okay, we already picked Zack Snyder, so like we gotta stick to that, or
I really don't think. I really don't think they care. They already got rid of Goyer.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, after Man of Steel, Schneider and Goyer were the main 2. So I don't think they're concerned about what their public image is going. Hell, their public image is already trashed.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. It's like they put all this money and all this hype into a hurried film that was actually postponed, 3 to 4 months, and still came out crappy. And the only reason why it grossed as high as it did opening weekend was because people were curious. Once curiosity set in, 46. What was it? Was it a 46% decrease the second week?
Well, we fell for the meet me by the flagpole fight thing.
Yeah. So I mean, like, anyway, I like I said, I'm done with the DC films. I've been done since Man of Steel. I'm not going to go see any of these damn things, which kind of sucks because I would like to see Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think that'd be pretty freaking cool. But then again, I can't really root for these films. Why? Because I need these films to fail so they can start over.
Oh,
exactly. Man. Did you hear what Goyer said about why they chose to do the Death of Superman in this movie?
I don't care what he said. I know why they did it.
But it's just, he said because you can't form the Justice League with Superman in there. He has to not be there.
Well, like the Justice League is supposed to be the void. Like that's supposed to. I mean, it makes sense if you look at it like, oh, we don't have Superman, so that would be the reason to bring a team together anyway because we have to fill the void. But if that's the case, what happens once he comes back?
Yeah, but he said it as if when you have Superman, you don't need the Justice League. That's why he needed to die. That's the way that I got it from that article that he said.
Completely ignoring the fact that the Justice League usually deals with problems Superman can't do by himself, and also the Justice League doesn't. This is my main thing. The Justice League does not roll around 6 or 7 deep every fucking mission. Sometimes you'll get 3 of them. Sometimes you'll get 2 of them. Sometimes it's just 4 of them.
They had a whole show about it.
Yeah. So I don't care. Goyer's a dumbass.
If one of the Justice League members can't handle quantum physics, they can call in Cyborg to do something. Like they don't need everybody.
Don't get me started on that, dude. Cyborg does not need to be in the Justice League.
He's a Teen Titan, and I don't know why they need to change that.
He's a Titan through and through, and I don't like him being on the Justice League. He's affirmative action and it's fullest effect.
Yeah.
I don't. But anyway, so. Done with the DC stuff. So yeah.
Well, for Phase 3, I'm looking forward to Black Panther and Spider-Man, almost half and half. Just because I have to wait so long for Black Panther, I kind of feel like it's like the cherry on top. But I am looking forward to Spider-Man because the casting has seemed really good so far. Like they're having like a really well-rounded cast. Really good young people, so I think that Civil War made me really excited for Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, Black Panther, and I am looking forward to Thor because the director Taika Waititi, I watched his indie movie last year, What We Do in the Shadows, and I thought that was really awesome. So I just feel like he's gonna bring something new and great.
What we do in the shadow? Isn't it that vampire movie?
Yeah. So it's basically like the real world.
Thor 3.
Yeah, the main one, the one that's all like, prim and proper. He's the one that's directing Thor. So I actually really like that.
Wow.
It's supposed to be like they're calling it like a buddy cop movie kind of with Thor and Hulk.
Is Hulk supposed to play that big of a role? Because I thought that was kind of weird when it was like, oh, Hulk is going to be in Thor Ragnarok. Because the second they announced that, I'm like, well, then whatever the hell is going on in Asgard can't be that big of a problem if you got Hulk. That shit'll be wrapped up in an afternoon. I would think.
Well, Hulk can stop Ragnarok?
Well, I mean,
could stop
what is Loki
anything.
gonna do to the Hulk? We saw Loki try to go up against Hulk, and everyone saw how that came out.
But Loki's gonna be smarter this time.
Maybe.
He's gonna learn his lesson. I mean, he's ruling Asgard now.
I'm pretty sure Loki has not even considered the possibility that that big green behemoth is coming to Asgard. I'm pretty sure he hasn't taken that into consideration. But oh man, I don't. I mean, don't get me. I like.
Heimdall could tell him.
That man, that's gonna be really.
And they still think he's Odin, right?
Everything. Huh?
And they still think he's Odin, right? Because
Yeah.
no one's figured that shit out yet.
Loki probably knows everything because he's just asking Heimdall, and Heimdall just told him everything.
Like, sure, sir. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Yep.
That's gonna be real interesting seeing Thor and Hulk team up like that. And see, here's the other thing too. Didn't they say that it was Hulk and not Banner?
I hope it's not just Hulk. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just waiting to see what they're doing with that movie. I know they got Kate Blanchett on that sucker, so I'm really excited about that. But I'm like, if she's not playing Enchantress, I'm gonna be pissed.
I think she is.
Cause she's perfect for that.
I think she is.
Then I'm happy again.
Yay.
But and then let me see what. Wait, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was gonna say, how do we feel about the team? I'm sorry, we're going back to Civil War, but the team being basically everybody's wanted in different places now. So like Scott can't go home, right?
Right.
Scott wasn't home in the first place, right? Wasn't he staying with Hank?
But I mean, he can't go back to his town.
He can't see his daughter anymore.
Unless he's gonna stay little the whole time.
Hawkeye can't go back home.
Hawkeye could go home because apparently nobody knows about the pharmacist of Avengers, right?
Yeah. Because his place is off the grid.
So he could technically go home, back home, I guess. And then Black Widow's off the grid. Scarlet Witch, where's she gonna go? Is she gonna stay with Cap? I don't know.
Actually, I think she would probably stay with Hawkeye. Since they have that whole like, I've heard somebody refer to it as a father-daughter relationship. I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't say that. Big brother little sister relationship.
I see. Probably. I see it that way.
So and consider this: Hawkeye's wife just had a baby, and hey, free babysitter.
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense that she would go and stay with Hawkeye.
Or she can go back and get some of that organic D. You know what I'm saying?
Then again, here's the other thing too. I would find it. Well, actually, we don't know how her powers work because she might be able to cloak herself from Vision. Because I would have to imagine Vision would be able to find her. But she might be able. But because both their abilities stem from the Mind Stone, she might be able to shield herself. Because she's the only foil for him.
True.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You goes back.
He took his nap.
Actually, he wasn't taking a nap because I called him. That's who I was on the phone with. Briefly, I was talking with Hugo. And Hugo, can you hear me?
Looks like he's frozen in time again.
Okay.
Oh, he was frozen all time.
So that just kind of killed my Last of the Mohegans joke. It's like, by God, he came back. Like Daniel Day-Lewis in Last of the Mohegans. He will find us.
So should we see? You think we might? Well, probably just like a little hint, but in Black Panther, Cap and Bucky though, because Bucky's just staying there in the ice.
Oh, in Black. I wouldn't be surprised by that because I figure that they want Cap to keep making appearances before Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he pops up in that film. Bucky, I don't think. Actually, I'm not even sure about that though, because remember, Bucky's going in stasis. So ideally, we wouldn't see him again until he gets thawed out.
Who would be the person to, finally eliminate the whole mental thing? Who do you think would be that person to come up so Bucky could be free again?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That makes the most sense. Especially since we don't have Mr. Fantastic in this universe. Or Professor X for that matter. Because Charles can knock that shit out in an afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Charles will roll up, get my coffee.
And he would have to come and claim his children.
Since we're on the subject of X-Men, I heard that that could be a possibility that they would be able to share the rights with Marvel, with Fox. But I hear that they're playing the waiting game to see how Spider-Man is going to be.
Oh, to see if Marvel pulls off Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No, you know what I think that really is? To see how big of a payoff is it for Sony to let Marvel make that film. I think that's what it's really about.
They want to see that payoff,
So if they're like, y'all made 400 million, 500 million, all right, let's do this shit.
And I think it would happen, even though they're talking about that Fantastic Four is going to get a sequel. I think it would happen with Fantastic Four first, for Phase 4, Fantastic Four.
I saw that headline today, and I'm like, this is a joke, right? Like, I'm being punked.
Oh my Lord! He's like, we learned from our mistakes, so we wouldn't do them again. I'm like, oh.
That whole Fantastic Four film was just what the huh?
Every Fantastic Four film has been garbage.
That's not true. Not true.
Yeah.
No. Here's the thing: the first two were not as bad as everybody make it out to see. It makes it out to be.
They can't be.
It's just a different level of garbage.
Wait, what you said, Hikari?
I mean, it's just a different level of garbage. They were still garbage. Especially the second one.
Worse than Ghost Rider?
Ooh.
All that shit is garbage.
Oh, no.
Worse than Catwoman?
This shit is all garbage. I mean, it doesn't make a difference if it's a fucking milk carton or, or that shit is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather watch those Fantastic Four than the Daredevil or Catwoman.
Jonah
Ghost
Hex.
Rider.
Well,
I even finished Ghost Rider 2. Lord.
Here's my thing. If you want to go ahead and say they're all garbage, let me tell you something. Some garbage is more tolerable than other garbage. For an example, if I have a old milk carton sitting in my trash can, I can tolerate that garbage. If it's a dirty diaper, trust me, you can't tolerate that garbage. Christina, you know what I'm talking about. You can't tolerate that garbage.
Yes.
You cannot.
I don't want to see garbage, though, especially if I got to pay for it.
But you didn't know that at the time, Hikari. That's in hindsight. You didn't know that.
I certainly knew it after the first one. Shit.
I actually like the second one better than the first one. I like Silver Surfer better than the first one.
I thought the Silver Surfer one was worse than the first one.
I've heard that.
No, the first one was pretty bad, considering the one-liners from Doctor Doom and what happens to plastic when it gets really cold.
Oh god.
It gets cold.
You're supposed to be a scientist. You don't need to ask these questions, Doom.
Wait, is it supposed to break or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
Cause I know damn well I could put Tupperware in my freezer and it'll be fine.
Exactly.
I think it would need to be colder than that.
That's what Dr. Doom asked. And I didn't even bother seeing this Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four. I didn't even bother with that.
I know glass can break if it gets too cold.
Yeah, but he ain't missed the glass though. Then again, he ain't missed the plastic either. So I digress.
Well, Dr. Doom is supposed to originally be a polymath. He's supposed to know.
Yeah, we plus been dealing with sorcery and stuff too, like with magic with him.
That's what made those Fantastic Four movies, or at least the first one, pretty bad. I'm with Larry. The second one was decent.
What?
Larry
okay, hold on.
Elevated.
Hold on. The second one was passable. It was garbage. I'll agree with you. It was garbage. But it was watchable garbage. It was entertaining garbage. It wasn't like Catwoman where you felt like you wanted to kill yourself by the end of it.
Dude, like that's like the difference between getting this a 60 on a test and a 65. Like that's not a big difference.
65 is passing.
A 65 is a D, my boy.
Listen, 65 is
Family, I
gotta take that.
if you get a 65 on a test, you fucked up real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Dude, let me tell you something. If your ass was in a class that class was not a prereq for something else and you needed a D to pass, a 60 and a 65 is a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the difference of you having to retake that class.
I could do that. 65. Oh my gosh.
Shit, you know how many 65 saved my life in grade school? Shit.
Right. I mean, okay, in grade school, but if you're in college, if I got a 65 in college, I would fucking jump off the roof of my dorm.
Well,
Now we're talking about college now?
I mean, I sucked at math, but I wouldn't.
65s didn't help me in college just because I needed C's to pass everything. So
Yeah.
Right.
But
anyway.
Yeah, but no, big difference between a 60 and a 65, yo. Huge difference.
Larry's like, I have records at stake.
That's a whole fucking grade. That's a whole different letter. That's a whole grade. That's a whole different other grade.
Right. Okay. So Fantastic Four.
Anyway, but yeah, like I ran across the article with the headline talking about that. What is it? Simon Kinberg, who I think was he an executive producer or a writer for Fantastic Four?
I can look that up right now.
I think he's one of the producers because I think he's also a producer.
Producer.
Yeah, because I think he's he's also a producer on X-Men films and he was a producer on Deadpool. But he was talking about like, oh yeah, dude, I totally want to do a Fantastic Four too. And it's like, but that movie bombed.
Producer and writer.
They don't want to give up the fucking rights, and they don't want to lose the cast because that is a good cast.
But that's a good cast.
I mean,
it's got Michael B. Jordan.
In their own movies. I mean, come on, they're good actors.
Okay, Jordan and
that's it.
And Mara.
Mara Teller? Are you kidding me?
Wait,
only like 5 people saw Whiplash. Yeah, it won a bunch of Oscars and all that, but only so many people saw Whiplash.
I saw him in the Footloose remake. And
okay, look. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with Homeboy from Whiplash, though. Here's my thing with Homeboy from Whiplash, though. And y'all can hate me for this. I don't like his face.
No, I can understand that. It's just like Benedict Cumberbatch. People don't like Benedict Cumberbatch's face.
Yeah, I don't like his face.
It's reptilian. That was not made by this.
He's got an overbite, doesn't he?
You agree that Benedict Cumberbatch he's reptilian. You agree with that? Because the first time I saw him in Into Darkness, I was like, dude looks like a dragon, and then next thing you know, he was Smaug, and I was like, oh.
He didn't need no CGI for The Hobbit. That was au naturel, okay?
There you go. No, because you look at the way his nose looks and all that, I was like,
do you remember the trailers for Zoolander 2?
His mouth looks CGI. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yes.
His mouth looks CGI.
His mouth looks CGI.
They just call B Cumberbatch a dragon. Like,
I'm not saying that. I'm not
It's a compliment though. Like
I'm fixing for y'all to just be like, homeboy's King Koopa.
And
no,
that was really,
Benedict Cumberbatch is a beast. I love him, but like he looks like a dragon. Like legit.
That's
Yeah.
like
So
it was really messed up in Star Trek because he's like supposed to be this perfect human, but he's got an overbite, a serious.
okay, but okay, so
I ain't say all that.
but homeboy from Whiplash, I don't think he's that good of an actor, to be honest, and he certainly does not come across to me as a Reed Richards. No.
Oh, well.
I agree with Larry. On that. I didn't see the movie, but like the first time I saw him, I'm like, no.
Matter of fact, especially given you know what? Now that I fucking think about it, Eisenberg would have been perfect for fucking Reed Richards.
No.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, he
No.
would have.
No.
Yeah, he would have. He could have done it.
perfect Riddler or
No.
something like that.
No, not even the Riddler. No.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
No, I
I was like, nope. I don't.
You saying God doesn't seem like Mr. Fantastic? None of those characters seem like who they were supposed to be. None of them.
Which is a problem. But
Yeah.
but you go roll with me on this because I think you so traumatized by that Lex Luthor, like you missing. Okay, no,
I'm not traumatized by it. Go ahead.
I'm traumatized with that Jolly Rancher. I'm
Dude,
traumatized.
dude, Eisenberg with the right script could pull off Mr. Fantastic.
Script, but still, Eisenberg looks more like a douche than he would be somebody like Reed Richards. Reed Richards is not a douche. Eisenberg, there's two ways that Eisenberg can play something. He can either play something like a douche, like in The Social Network, where he's really good, or he could be like he was in Zombieland, and that's kind of the two worlds he kind of exists in. And it's going to take a little bit to break him out of that. And I thought they were going to do that with Man of Steel, because I was the only person who was behind him as Lex Luthor, because I'm like, with the right script and the right direction, he could do it. He could Michael Rosenbaum this thing. Like, he could be the, like...
Speaking of,
No,
my boy.
No, he could have.
No.
Could have.
You think that
Right
blasphemy
script,
out
he
of your
could have.
mouth. You take that blasphemy out of your mouth.
You go. You bite your damn tongue. You bite your damn tongue. He
No.
never another fucking Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor. You take that back.
I'm not saying he was going to be another Michael Rosenbaum. What I'm saying is he could have been that young guy. Because look, before Michael Rosenbaum was Lex Luthor, I mean, he was in Sorority Boys.
Yes, he
You
was.
know? Nobody took him seriously as Lex Luthor until we actually saw him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Michael Rosenbaum, I mean, just, okay, I show them what I'm made of. But no, unfortunately, the script had to do what it did, and that's what we got.
What script could make him Lex Luthor?
Oh, a good script. A good script can make just about anybody Lex Luthor. A good script and good directing could make him Lex Luthor.
I could have written Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Hell yeah! Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Matter of fact, I did write Eisenberg as Lex fucking Luthor.
I don't believe it.
I can send you the fuck, what is that called? Well, yes, it's a document. Treatment. Thank you. I can send you the treatment.
Pass.
But I've always envisioned Lex Luthor as an older man, but I thought, you know, with a young Lex Luthor, this could actually work. This could be something interesting. No, wrong, and it sucks because now it's like Jesse Eisenberg's kind of stuck with that performance, and it's like,
well, no, dude,
for better or worse, he's good. He's a good actor.
You know, they never say that his dad is dead. He just says,
dude,
specifically says his dad is dead. And they were planning on having Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor.
They weren't planning on that. They were never planning on that.
That's what he says.
They were never planning on that.
Dude, let's be real about this. Dude, let's be real about this though. I mean, Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, dude, all you had to do was fucking write him as Zuckerberg.
as a
That's
more
what I thought they were
intense
gonna do.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
more,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I mean,
yes,
I just don't see Eisenberg. He just aesthetically, he does not match the tone of Lex
no,
Luthor.
no, but Uber, that's kind of the point, you see. In the way that that I thought they were going to envision Man of Steel is that Lex Luthor, compared to both Batman and Superman, who were these big, strong guys, Lex Luthor was strong up here in the mind. Lex Luthor was the billionaire young guy who was, everybody doubted him because he was scrawny and small and weak. But it's like, no, I got all this money here because I got it up here. He's a genius and, he got government contracts and all this because he's so young.
Does
That's
not
what
look like a genius.
hang
He
on.
looks like a super kid from San Diego.
What you were saying?
That's the point, though. That's
I
the
said
point.
he doesn't look like a genius. He looks like some surfer kid from San Diego. Like you can't convince me that a dude
Surfer.
is gonna somehow deceive Batman. Fucking Batman.
Look at Zuckerberg, dude. Look at Zuckerberg and tell me he doesn't look like a surfer from San Diego.
What surfers are y'all watching?
Mm.
And look, and here's the other thing too. Besides all of that, like, I mean, what look do you really need for Lex Luthor?
It varies so often. You just need something written competently and for him to be menacing and brilliant. Like it's not rocket science.
The only like in terms of like physical traits, like the only physical traits I personally like having with Lex Luthor is like I like the idea of the big buff Lex Luthor, but that's only prevalent when you are doing the whole he has that inferiority complex compared to Superman bit. If you're not doing that, you don't need him to have the whole built thing, because even in the comics, like Lex is built because he's like, I need to be the pinnacle of human conditioning, but even fucking Clark makes him feel even Superman makes him feel fucking inferior, despite like the motherfuckers lifting like 400, 500 fucking pounds on the bench, like 1,000 pounds and shit, taking kryptonite cocktail steroids and shit, and even at that point, he still has a small man, a Napoleonic syndrome.
He bought his own planet. He bought his own planet, for God's sake.
So unless you intend to do that, you don't even need him to be that physique.
No, he doesn't need to be that. But I mean, it's just the case that there needs when you have visual media, there has to be some synchronization between the aesthetics and the tone. And this guy just does not look like what I envision Lex Luthor to look like. He doesn't look serious. He doesn't look intense. He doesn't look menacing.
I mean, it's the same thing that people had said with what's his face that played Joker. Yeah, Heath Ledger though.
Yeah, that is true.
And again, I was the only person who was behind
And
Heath
Michael
Ledger,
Keaton when he was Batman years ago.
Makeup on.
Well, here's what I'm saying about Eisenberg. Uber, you can talk about aesthetics all you like, but I'm talking about contrast between the two characters. Because, again, with Batman and Superman, you have these bust physical human specimens, and with Lex Luthor, you have this scrawny guy who doesn't look like he's nothing until he starts talking, and then you realize this mofo's like 40 IQ points above just about everybody in the room. And he will talk down to you because that's what you... He's a person who's small himself, but he will make you feel small because, like, oh, yeah, you're big and strong, whatever. I got this, da-da-da-da-da, what have you done? Like... And when you, if you're writing him like that, then yeah, the small stature, yeah, that's kind of the whole point. Dude, it's like those old what is it? The old Muggsy caricatures in the Looney Tunes. Like, this is the dude that's this big bad, gangster, and it's this miniature guy with the hat who's bigger than him, and he got a cigar bigger than his face, but like he runs shit in the show. That's not the guy you want to mess with.
Right,
there you
exactly.
go.
I'm not talking about like stature or physique. I'm talking about gravitas. Like, I just don't feel that from him.
Uber, with the right people, you can make gravitas. Because I've seen him in Now You See Me. Mm-hmm. Not that excellent of a movie, But I mean, he's great in that movie in terms of gravitas, looking like he's knowing what he's talking about, and just kind of being in control and everything. If they would have taken that and his performance in The Social Network, put them together, added a little bit of spice to it, that would have been perfect. That would have been perfect.
He wasn't directed right because didn't he audition for Riddler? Didn't he audition for Riddler? But then they changed it, gave him Lex Luthor, and then but Zack Snyder didn't tell him, hey, stop being Riddler and now be Lex Luthor. He just let him continue being Riddler.
You know what I think? And I think that is right, because I remember when they first talked about Batman v Superman, they were like, "Oh, the Riddler was like one of the villains that they were like they were like, yeah, the Riddler is one of the villains we're thinking about." And it was only like a couple of months later that it was real. It's like, oh, it's Lex Luthor. But then they started talking about like a team up and shit. I like how they kept Doomsday out of the fucking news entirely.
Everyone knew that was coming, though. Everyone knew that was coming. I didn't want to say anything, just like, because I didn't think they'd have the balls to go there or be that dumb to go there, but they were, and here we are. So yeah, but no, about the Riddler though. Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler, that is the Riddler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
That's a great movie, and he was great in it. That is the Riddler right there. If they could get Jake Gyllenhaal to do what he did in Nightcrawler and just be just a little bit more crazy, you got the Riddler right there.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't care what DC does now. Start over.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Just start over.
Hey, Larry, can I be shameless real quick?
Go ahead.
I just want to plug my YouTube channel. I got a video up there and a blog if you guys want to read, but I know y'all don't read. But no, it's called "What If Batman v Superman Was Man of Steel 2 and Good." It's the first part of a series of videos I'm doing. I'm basically breaking down how I would do the entire DC universe differently than what Warner Brothers is doing. I suggest you guys check it out. Vibe with me, like, comment, subscribe if you guys want more of those videos, because I got the whole thing planned out, all the way up to the second Justice League movie. Vibe with me.
Bang.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching those, but I probably already because we've talked at length about that before. So.
Yeah, but this one's a little different, and I like what I'm doing with it, but that's only because it's me. But like once I get to the Justice League movie, everything is gonna come full circle. So it's like. This is something I'm going to take a good amount of time doing because I got like a cast and what I want to do, story beats, and how it's going to go leading up to the Justice League movie, what's going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, motherfucker, how come I wasn't invited to collab on any of this?
Wait, no, I'm gonna get you in there. I'm gonna get you in there, but okay. It's just right now because I got it all kind of contained. So I'm gonna wait until I get all the videos out before I'm gonna let people start messing with it and then we can get in and discuss that. But I digress.
Don't get me started on casting, bro. Cause fucking casting. It pissed me off so much when they went ahead and got what's your boy name? Christopher Maloney. When they got him playing some fucking no-name fucking general in Man of Steel, and I'm like, that motherfucker should have been Lex Luthor. Like, why?
Oh yeah.
Why? Because that was the dude I was saying for the longest. Yeah, from Law and Order SVU.
Mm-hmm. Dun, dun.
It should have been Billy Zane.
Much time, shitting on DC, but here's. I'd like to take this discussion in a slightly different direction. Let's assume that DC keeps everything that they have now, right? They keep Man of Steel, they keep BVS. What would DC have to do to make their shit better?
Start over.
Basically.
Fucked up Superman for me.
This is the second time starting over, though.
To start over has to start over with the right people.
Okay, wait, no. Hikari. I know what you mean, because you said if they keep everything they got, right?
Yeah.
So this is how they make it better. They put out the movies that they say they're gonna put out, and hopefully they don't fold beforehand. And then at the end of Justice League, you have Darkseid kill everybody. And then
I like where this is going.
and then you have Bart go. I mean, you have Barry. Because is it Barry or is it Bart? Who's the Flash in the movies?
Barry.
It's Barry.
It's Barry.
You have Barry go all the way back in fucking time before any of this shit ever started, and then you restart it.
That would be way too meta, and I would applaud them if they had the balls to do something like that, where it's like, oh yeah, hey, the Flash is like a built-in reboot. Let's do that.
Yes, it is.
Like this shit that we just years, that doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
But no, Larry's right. At this point in time, because with just Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, they have enough to stop making movies. They just put out 2. They're not fully committed just yet. Because we still had 2 Hulks before we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe rolling. So they can pull out right now. They just have 2 movies. They're not fully committed until they put out Wonder Woman. That's when they kind of have to commit to it, because it's like, we waited all these years for a Wonder Woman movie. We're going to get a Wonder Woman movie, damn it. But no. So it's like they just got 2 movies right now. They can pull out. They can still pull out.
Yeah, but they just wrapped Wonder Woman this week.
Well, yeah, but like one way or another, once they put out Wonder Woman, they're done. They have to go with Aquaman, Cyborg, all that. Once they do Wonder Woman, but it's like Batman v Superman. It's just 2 movies. They can stop. They can pull out anytime. The condom hasn't broke yet, is what I'm saying.
I knew you was gonna go there when you was like, they can still pull out. They can still. I'm like, watch, he gonna make a sexual joke. Watch. But no, seriously, dude, just start over. Just start over. It's okay. No one will fault you. You know, I mean, everybody will fault you, but don't worry about that.
You already at fault.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you done already made an ass of yourself. Just say, you know what? We fucked up, and just start again. It's okay.
And the sad reality is that Warner Brothers does own all of the characters, so it's like they could be doing a lot more with what they have. Because Marvel actually had to scratch and fight to get some of the characters. They just got Spider-Man back in okay. From when that news was announced to his announcement of being in Civil War was like quick, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Marvel just brought Spider-Man back from Sony, and now all of a sudden he's going to be in Civil War. They already got a cast and everything. It's almost like Marvel was waiting for that, you know?
Yeah, they probably
it's almost like they had a plan for that. Like, okay, if we get Spider-Man, we're going to get Tom Holland. But DC, it just seems like everything they do reeks of desperation. And I know everybody has said that, but it does. Yeah. And, okay, you look at Civil War, and I know, I'm sorry, we shouldn't be doing the whole Batman v Superman Civil War. But, like, okay, Civil War had so many freaking characters in there. But it was fluid.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. Mm-hmm. Batman v Superman had only 3 characters, and that movie felt bloated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it felt crowded. And I know we already reviewed Civil War. I'm sorry I missed all of that. Had work-related stuff I had to do. But anyway, no. The one flaw about Civil War is that, what we were talking earlier before I left, is that Spider-Man, he was kind of pulled into the movie at random. And like you said, child soldier, all that stuff. Yeah, that was the one part of the movie that didn't work, but it's like we can forgive it because it made sense why he was there in terms of Tony Stark saying, hey, we need more numbers, and this kid can actually do something. Let's get him on our side.
Yeah.
As opposed to Wonder Woman, who kind of opens up an email attachment. We see the trailer for the next superhero movies coming out, and then she's like, oh, Doomsday's wrecking the city, let me go and fight. And yeah, and then it was just kind of like, okay, Wonder Woman and Superman are here. Batman, what are you kind of doing? I mean, you could have gone and got the kryptonite spear. I don't... It's just kind of like, why are you here?
Messaging Wonder Woman, just like Supergirl. What is it with DC and instant messaging?
Hey, girl, I see you.
Wonder Woman, where is you? Fighting Doomsday. Need help.
Don't you love how Batman's like, I thought she was with you. You've been texting this chick for how many days?
Thank you. That's so rude. That's so rude. It's like, didn't you just see this chick? Like, I thought she was with you. No, dude, she was with you the whole time, Bats. Like, where were
She
you?
ain't even seen Clark Kent. She like, I don't know that man.
He literally said, that's you. It's under the photo. That's you.
I have no frame of reference.
Well, no, okay.
But Yakari is losing his fucking mind over
Larry, let me break it down to you. So in Batman v Superman, right? Wonder Woman steals a hard drive from Lex Luthor that has a photo of her from like the 1940s or whatever. So like Lex Luthor knows who she is. So Batman gets the photo and he emails Wonder Woman and he's like, who are you? Where do you come from? All this other stuff. And he sends her the LexCorp files of the Flash. And here's the kicker too. And I had to think about this because I got out the movie and I was like, what the hell? The icons for each of the videos had the superhero, had the Flash like emblem on it. So it's like you saw the little lightning bolt and all that, and it was like, okay, that's the Flash. And I'm thinking they're like, what LexCorp douchebag was like, okay, I'm
breaking up.
gonna put here, and I'm gonna put an A here for Aquaman. Like,
graphic design intern.
Yeah, he just got really overzealous, and it's like the Flash is gonna see that one day. But like, I really like this lightning bolt thing that LexCorp came up. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use that. Like honestly, it was pitiful. It was pitiful because
for all you know, it could be Lex's evil scheme to hit them all with trademark infringement. You know, I stole my shit.
They're the dumb ones. They're gonna take the logos for their own movies.
Lex is sitting in the fucking Lex is sitting in the prison commissary watching the commercials for the trailers on fucking TV and like, damn niggas owe me money.
He'll just go up to me like, if you were the Flash, you would have invented the Flash logo.
I was Wonder Woman, and Lex had sent me those pictures, or Batman. I'd just be like, Photoshop? Question mark?
No, for real though. It was like watching a bad YouTube video. Honestly.
For real.
Like, you saw just grainy, good God, what they did with Aquaman. He looked like a merman.
Well, he looked at the camera for 10 minutes before he striked it. He was like,
but it looked like a shampoo commercial. Like he's just sitting there, just floating with his trident and whatnot, and he's just like that long, beautiful hair. I'm like thinking of like classical music playing in the background, and like they're talking about Pantene something.
One thing that I got heated about was Zack Snyder says that Superman did not know that Batman was Bruce Wayne until the end of the movie. And I said, what? I'm like, that does not make sense because they're at Lex Luthor's house and Superman hears Alfred talking to him. And I'm like, there's no way Superman's that stupid. I'm sorry, he would have pieced it together. And then he starts following down, downstairs to Luthor's house. And I'm like, you told me he's just following him like, oh, you're trespassing? No! Like, I'm sorry.
Do you remember in the Superman animated series World's Finest that within 10 minutes Superman just uses his X-ray vision, just sees who Bruce Wayne is, and it's like, oh, it's over. And then what does Batman does? He puts a tracker on Superman's clothes, keeps his crib, it's done.
Might I add, ever since that happened, it's like lead cow.
Exactly.
It's like yo, we got mofos running around here with X-ray vision. Lead cow.
Right, which is not good for you, by the way, but
Is anybody gonna talk about the waste of money like on the fucking kryptonite with like the gas and stuff that Batman was using when all he had to do was just bring the spear right in front of Superman that was made out of kryptonite?
but he's wasting all his resources. Like, what are you
Can
if
can
you use the
I?
powder?
But did he need to do the gas first though to make
He
him
didn't.
He was
disoriented?
guys. He was wasting his resources because that's what the script said he did.
And you know, Superman was a douche in that movie because he could have told that congresswoman that really wasn't peach tea, that I was really pissed. And he
But Uber, you gotta have Grandma's peach tea. You gotta have Grandma's peach tea.
What a waste of Holly
Just gotta.
Hunter. Like,
Oh,
For
God.
real.
What a waste of everything.
we've
We
been
had
at
so much
3.5
Look,
hours.
Look, I don't want to be depressed. Just check out the blog, check out the video, and see how I would have done it better, and just like have that be the movie that you guys have in your mind. Yeah. No. But yeah, I don't know if we already got to it because again, I'm like super late to this whole thing. But for Marvel Phase 3, yeah, late, I know. But yeah, no, really looking forward to Doctor Strange because that's going to be the first magic character authentically that we have actually introduced into the universe. So
I brought it up early in the live stream though. Based off of that teaser trailer, are we dealing with magic?
I'm going to say yes because that's the only time. Because here's the thing, Thor is magical, but not entirely. They're still playing Thor as more of a mystical alien type deal, as like being from another realm, as opposed to like being a character who's fully involved in magic. Because with them dealing with the Collector and all of that, it's like they kind of know about aliens too. Doctor Strange, though, is completely magic. I mean, the dude is Sorcerer Supreme. If we ain't dealing with magic, what are we dealing with?
See, I mentioned it earlier when I said it looks like we're dealing with like interdimensional forces
Right.
or like interdimensional energies or something like that.
Even still, it's still gonna be there's still gonna be some magic involved in there. It still has to be either not like magic, like Harry Potter type magic, or it could be like magical,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I hope it's magic, but because that whole trailer was like, oh, this is what happens when you like warp reality or change reality, and I'm like, okay, so our setting change, but I still didn't see like nothing come out of nothing.
Well, I mean, again, it's just the first trailer. Wait for it a little bit. You will probably see some more magic, and it's only going to get stranger from there. So, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. With the way Marvel has been handling all of its characters, I'm really looking forward to this one because this is going to be, like I said, the first time we're dealing with magic as opposed to science and all of the other outer space stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy. This is magic. This is legit magic, like some real sorcery type, Shang Tsung, Fu Manchu type magic,
Question.
some like stuff coming out of Doctor Strange's fingers or something. That was magic, right? Wasn't there a picture where he had like gold lines coming out of his fingers or something?
Oh yeah, the circles and all that. Yeah. But yeah, this is magic.
Question.
Answer.
Do you think this is trilogy territory?
It all depends on how the movie goes.
Because
Yes.
here's the thing. I found out what's your boy name? Baron,
Cumberbatch.
no, I'm talking about the character Baron
Zemo.
no, not Zemo.
Oh.
What is it?
Baron.
Marduk? The
Mordor.
thank you. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not the villain in this movie. Apparently, him and Strange are actual like like they're partners in this one.
Okay, I can see
Until the
that.
end of the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Probably. But here's the thing, Larry, and I think this is the way that Marvel is playing it. They're gonna put out Doctor Strange right now, and then see how that does before they commit to a sequel.
Oh yeah, well that's
Yeah, just like with Ant-Man, you know,
Mhm.
we thought it was a one-off, and then we're gonna get Ant-Man and Wasp. So
same thing with Guardians too.
that
Exactly.
like Fantastic Four, they
That
like
ain't gonna happen.
as soon as Fantastic Four came out, they're like, here's a sequel date. Like, oh, that was too fast.
Wait,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four already slated a sequel date?
Yeah, basically that same month it came out, or no, a few months before it came out, it actually had a date for 2017.
Oh, they out they ever loving minds. They were overly. I think they were overly enthusiastic about that.
They were.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I like the way Marvel is doing it. They're committed to the stuff that they know they can be committed to, but with Doctor Strange, it's like they're kind of playing it by ear, and I like that because it's like we can still get that one-off Doctor Strange, and then just leave it at that and have him show up in the Infinity Wars or whatnot because you're gonna need him there. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But you know, so it's like either way, they're winning. They're winning regardless, at least with what they're doing with that. So it's like if they want to come out with Doctor Strange and have what's his name, Mordor in there.
Yeah.
Or do.
Morduk.
Yeah.
My dude.
I could never read his name in the comic books. I always read it as Murdoch, or not Murdoch, but Mordock. But I digress. No. But if they want to have him in that movie as Doctor Strange's partner, and then by the end of the movie they break off, that would be great because then they could set up for a sequel. But it's like right now they just want to do the Doctor Strange, and I can't hate them for that. Because again, this is the first time we get magic. You know, the Infinity Stones are probably going to play some role in there. They said Black Panther is going to be really important in order to get to Infinity War. I don't know how, but they said that's really important, so it's like cool. But again, with a character like Thanos coming, you're going to need that magical element, and it's kind of going to be nice to have someone else who can understand the magical realm along with Thor.
Right.
That is true. I will say this though. It's like if they do decide to. I mean, I'm down to see like if they do decide to do a Doctor Strange trilogy, you know. But I also thought about this. It's like, you know, even if we don't get a sequel or a third before Phase 3 wraps up, if nothing else, man, it's like, oh, you know, we just got done with Thanos. It's like, what villain could possibly cause a threat to any new, you know, any Avenger team that's still standing back there? It's like,
Exactly.
Dormammu, motherfuckers? Dormammu?
Yeah.
Like, dude, they introduced that mofo. I'm like, oh.
Exactly, because like fucking Fox already has fucking Galactus, but we got to do a Dormammu now.
I know, right? So I'm like,
He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, that's why some
That's
people were like, they're gonna get it back for Phase 4 so we can get Galactus.
see, but dude, like, what's so funny about that though? It's like, because even with the whole Fantastic Four talk, like, dude, if Marvel got that, I said we, because if we got that, let's do this now. All right, bump that. Hey, I've seen all 8 fucking movies, okay, and I paid to see them bitches. We together in this. We together in this.
Damn. Okay,
Larry.
If we got that Fantastic Four franchise back. Once again, like I mentioned earlier before, we could do Secret Invasion because now we would have the Skrulls back.
Yep.
We could do Galactus, and how about this? We get Doc Doom back.
Yes.
One of the biggest Marvel villains.
You could even see like a Phase 4 where they introduce Franklin and his sister. That would be pretty cool.
No, they too fucking overpowered. Let's leave them out of that.
Yeah. Let's not.
Shit. And have him fight Dormammu. That would be cool.
They too powerful.
No.
Dude, consider this. We've already depowered Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And she's obviously depowered.
Yeah, we don't need cause real shit. If Scarlet Witch in the movies was like she was in the comics, there wouldn't have been no Civil War.
She's been
There
like,
wouldn't have been no Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like she would have showed up at that airport and be like, cool the fuck out. Everybody, you good? You good? You good? I'm gonna let y'all go now. I'm gonna let y'all. I told you cool out. You didn't cool out. You didn't cool out.
But they had to depower Ultron too. So like,
They could depower Franklin and Dormammu.
no.
Well, because when Franklin was a kid, he didn't know how to control his powers until he was shown by himself.
Yeah, but do we really want to do that? I mean, we already got Dormammu. Do we really want to do that with
Yes.
like the kid who can't control his powers, and then all of a sudden he has to rise above hate and do all that? Like, no, let's not.
Oh, well, I
Let's
don't know
not.
about the rise above hate shit.
Huh?
I said I don't know about the rise above hate shit because we already did that in X3.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't want the kid to be our future. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Thank you. Like if I'd rather just them have Doom than Galactus, because I think we've earned a Galactus.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Annihilation. That's what I want to see.
Oh, dude, you know what's funny about this? I'm gonna have to go look this. I'm gonna have to go look this up. But I heard that even though Fox still had the Fantastic Four franchise, they didn't have Silver Surfer.
Oh, cool.
What, they lost Surfer?
I read something where they were like Silver Surfer belongs, like Marvel could do a Silver Surfer if they wanted to. I don't know how that would work.
They could do Annihilation after Thanos, and then they could introduce what's his name, Richard Ryder. I forget his name. Of the Nova Corps, they could introduce Fire Lord. With Guardians of the Galaxy, they could seed all their galactic stuff.
That's true.
Well, see, like I have no I have no doubt that like a Nova movie is not out of the fucking question because
right.
The fact that we got them in Guardians and we fucking did Ant-Man. We did Ant-Man.
Yeah.
All right, we did Guardians of the like a Nova Corps movie. That does not fuck. Man, dude, we could get Howard the Duck right now, and that wouldn't surprise me. If I woke up tomorrow and they were like Howard the Duck, I'm like, okay.
Larry, we kind of did at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's face it.
No, I'm talking about a full movie though.
I know. I'm just saying, like he kind of did show up. So it's like, right now, like Marvel can't do any wrong, and I hate saying that, but it's like. Since Iron Man 3, they have yet to put out a bad movie. Since Iron Man 3. Because I didn't see 2, so I can't speak on 2, but since Iron Man 3...
Well, a lot of people don't like Thor 2. I like it.
Dude, go see Iron Man 2 and then come back and talk to me about that.
Okay, well, all right.
Because I remember because me and you reviewed 3 when it first came out. And at the time, we was like, burn it with fire. But then I watched it 50 times, and I was like, this is not as bad as... No, it's very rewatchable. But I was like, shit, I rewatched it last weekend when FX was playing it. I'm like, yeah, Iron Man 3, not nearly not even close as bad as 2. I can't even watch 2.
I will check out 2. But what I'm saying with 3 is, with the potential of what they could do, what they could have done with the Mandarin and with Iron Man, because like out of all of the Iron Man characters, the Mandarin is probably one of the most well-known and probably one of Iron Man's strongest villains.
Well, that's his arch nemesis.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like with that character being such an important figure in the Iron Man mythos and having him finally appear and having such a great actor play that character, for what they did with it was not worth what they could have done. And that's what I'm saying. The potential that they could have done with all those characters, with the Mandarin, with Iron Man, they did nothing really dramatic with it, except for like the Extremis virus, which is a dumb place to go, because it's like that storyline in the comics wasn't all that compelling to begin with anyway. And in the movie, it was even worse. So, yeah, I wasn't impressed, and it was a disappointment. But ever since then, it's just been consistently good, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I said, my thoughts on Iron Man 3 changed. I really don't like I said. I mean, I I think the movie's fine. I do agree with you with the Mandarin though. Like if they would have done that with any other, like they could have just picked another villain and decided to, like they could have done that with Crimson Dynamo, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Could have picked Crimson Dynamo and I'd have been perfectly fine with it. But the fact that it was the Mandarin, but then again, once again, that just goes back to what I fucking said about Zemo earlier in the video and why I like the fact that we didn't kill him, cause Marvel likes killing off their villains. And like with Mandarin, that would have been something like you don't kill off Mandarin. No, he needs to be a reoccurring villain in the MCU, especially since we don't have Doc Doom. Mandarin could feel that sort of dictator type you know, that sort of like Ra's al Ghul, Doc Doom role within the MCU because we don't have a character like that in the MCU.
Right. But it's like, for movies, you kind of do have to get that one and done out of there. Maybe not kill him, but just find some way to get him out of there. Because unless you plan to keep making more Iron Man movies or have him show up in someone else's movie, there's really no point in having him around. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's not a TV show, it's a movie.
Well, but
Iron Man's Rogue Gallery of
with what they've been doing with those movies, this shit was just another episode. Are you crazy?
Yeah, some people are saying that these movies are just, you know,
episodic.
Episodic. That Civil War is a season finale.
Yeah, exactly. Civil. No, actually, no. Yeah.
I mean, but on the greater scale, not exactly. It's the start of Phase 3, but you know what I mean.
No, I think I would put Civil War as like MCU season 3 premiere. Yeah, where like Age of Ultron in this could have been you know, finale / premiere movie bit, but no, I wouldn't call Civil War a finale. No, that's a premiere. Because it's set up more than it closed.
Well, no, it did close. It did kind of close the chapter on the Avengers as a team.
Yeah.
Because that's what made Civil War so good is that
a finale.
The conflict.
I don't think so. I think Age of Ultron did that because we saw the team at the end of Age of Ultron, and the only people that were from that original team that was still there were Cap and Black Widow. Everybody else bounced.
No. What I mean, Larry, is that at the end of Civil War, the only thing that got resolved is Baron Zemo. That was it. Mm-hmm. Tony and Cap are still. Tony's still on one side. Cap is still a fugitive. His boys are still a fugitive. The team's broken up completely now. Like, Cap's on the other side of the law, you know, and Tony Stark is on the other side of the law and eventually has to bring him in. So now those two can't really come together anymore. Not in any right way unless some really huge stuff goes down. So that was kind of a season finale where it just closed the door on the Avengers. Like, yeah, there's no more Avengers right now.
Yeah.
You know? That's what made Civil War so good. It didn't play safe with everybody. Yeah. Nobody was hugging and kissing.
Man.
It was at the end but it's like, for the most part, Captain America's still a fugitive. Hawkeye's still a fugitive. He's got a wife, kids. None of that got resolved. Rhodey's like he needs a thing to walk now. That was a season finale because they're gonna have to pick themselves up after that. So that was a season finale.
They sure did paralyze Rhodey. I forgot about that. I'm like, that's some bull.
But that's what made Civil War so good. It didn't play it safe with everything. It wasn't like, you know, all of a sudden they become best friends at the end. It's like, no, there's still some issues there. It wasn't like, Batman v Superman
There
was
wasn't
like,
no Martha.
Nobody needed to die just to die.
exactly.
That can happen in Infinity.
There was no pointless death. It was like, oh, someone's dead. Oh, now we got to be friends again. It's like, no, there's still issues. At the end, Tony Stark was still yelling at Cap, so it's like, yeah, they didn't play it safe. Everybody's still pissed.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that you mentioned the whole pointless death bit, because I always thought Quicksilver's death in Age of Ultron was pointless.
I did too.
That was a Joss Whedon thing.
Yeah. I know Whedon fought for it, and I also know that if the film had been done the way he wanted it to be done, that Quicksilver would have been much more informed throughout the film, so that his death would have been more like satisfying. You know what I mean? Like it would have been more impactful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we would have related to him more. Because from what I read, a lot of his scenes got cut. But I always stood in the position of, you motherfuckers fought tooth and nail to use that character only to kill him off.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to say, go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
And then you're talking about a flagship member of the New Avengers, which is what we ended up getting. Like, I really wish Pietro was in this. Dude, if Pietro was in Civil War, oh my God, can you imagine the quipping? Oh, the fucking quip.
Larry, I would have just liked to have said, I would just like to say that the Flash wouldn't have been shot. Thank you very much.
The who?
The Flash wouldn't have been shot.
Oh yeah, because he's the fastest man.
Quicksilver's supposed to be like super fast, and it's like, how do you get shot?
Well, remember, how long did they have their powers from that, volunteering and shit,
But I'm just saying, like, even then, the Flash wouldn't. You're that fast. The Flash wouldn't have gotten shot. Like, as fast as Quicksilver was moving to see Thor's hammer flying through the air and try to grab it in midair, you have to be moving pretty fast for that. He wouldn't have been shot. That made no sense to me.
But then again, like I said, they depowered Quicksilver because because the thing is Quicksilver, like, here's the thing, I liked the Quicksilver from Age of Ultron better than the one from Days of Future Past, but the one from Days of Future Past, actually his powers acted like they were supposed to. Like the fact that he had a short attention span and shit, like that's what fucking Quicksilver's supposed to be like. Like, dude, I remember there was this an X-Men comic I read back in like '01 where it was right after Cyclops joined the Brotherhood, and he's flying the jet, and Quicksilver's bouncing back and forth in the jet, like, and he's like, why the fuck can't you just sit down and stay focused? It's like, dude, my heart beats like 25 times a second. Do you know what it's like living at this speed? Like, I can't have a normal conversation. It's too slow, damn it. My brain processes shit way too fast. So with all of that being said, if Quicksilver's powers worked the way they did, he would have seen them fucking bullets way too damn fast to have been caught by him.
But that's what I'm saying.
Never mind his ability to actually avoid them. He wouldn't have even had to run out of the way. He actually could have dodged them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, because again, when we see them fighting on the boat with Ulysses Claw and all that, and again, the hammer was moving in slow motion. He saw the thing and was like, oh, let me try and grab it. And you know how fast Thor's hammer travels. So it's like, he wouldn't have been shot. That's my only thing. Like, even if the bullets were coming directly, he wouldn't have been shot. Like, have Ultron, like, grab him or something, but he wouldn't have been shot. That's my only thing. Like, the bullets, no, come on. Come on, that's like Superman getting shot. Like, you faster than a speeding bullet. Right, whatever.
Superman shot once.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's getting about that time, because it's getting late. And we've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Nice time. So...
Yeah, before you sign out, I just want to apologize to everybody. I got in late. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it.
We were rooting for you!
I know, man, I know. But, Like Jonathan Kent said, maybe I should have let you drown. So there you go. All right.
Oh, damn, for real? It's like that? Shots fired, huh? Shots fired.
Damn.
I see how it is. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I guess just final thoughts, period, from anybody.
Giant Man.
Yeah, Giant Man.
Yeah,
Giant Man.
Giant Man was awesome.
Holy shit.
And I disagree with Larry on the CGI. I thought the CGI was fine on Giant Man.
It could have been better.
I would
And
say
him inside Iron Man suit too. This is your conscience speaking. We haven't
Yeah.
talked
No,
about
that shit was hilarious.
the Vision looks great in a sweater vest.
Oh yeah.
it. Yeah.
There we go. That's it. That's last words.
I don't think I. Is somebody calling me? It's too late to be calling me. Friend request? Who's sending me friend requests? I don't know this person.
Delete.
No, seriously, I don't know this person. I've been
Larry's a
getting-
victim
I've
of
been getting-
identity theft.
Oh, that's my cousin.
That's my cousin.
I feel so stupid now. Yeah, who's that Negro? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna accept that.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Reuniting with old friends. That's what happens here on Otaku Assemble Live.
Wait a minute, that's not that nigga's last name, is it? Oh, it might be. I don't know. Anyway, so
Does anybody want a little short movie of that Cat Falcon Bucky road trip and that bug?
I would love that. That'd be great.
I would love that.
well, yeah, they don't do the Marvel shorts anymore, do they?
I don't know.
think so.
I
They
would
don't
think,
need to at this point.
no, but they were nice featurettes. Like if you got the Blu-rays and
The
stuff. Like
Blu-rays?
I know the Captain America First Avenger one came with the what was it? One of the Agent Coulson ones.
Yeah, he's in the market in the little like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, in the gas station. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
something happened on the way to Thor's hammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, I would love that.
That was hilarious. Like,
Did you move your seat up? No.
I didn't. Oh yeah, look.
Right.
When I saw that scene, I was like, Bucky, I understand, man, because I hate riding in the back seat. My legs too damn long for that. and then Sam just being a jackass, like,
I sit next to Dad, not you.
Oh my god.
But
I love that relationship right there. Mm.
okay. Anyway, so that's going to go ahead and wrap up our live Captain America Civil War / Marvel Phase 3 talk. I want to go ahead and thank all of you all who checked out this hangout and all of you all checking it out once it, goes up on the channel after it goes live. I want to take this time to thank my esteemed panel for joining me for this late hangout. Each and every one of you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Thank
ooze
you.
of awesomeness.
Thank you. Thank you. Even though I was late and came in late again, thank you.
You're festering with phenomenalness.
Oh, shit.
Stop with the alliteration. You're
I
gonna
feel
run
like
out of
AJ
words.
Styles now. I feel like AJ Styles.
Hey, don't talk about the great one.
Wait, AJ Styles said that?
Drake.
The phenomenal
The
one.
phenomenal one.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, yes. So thank you all for joining us again this week. If you liked this live hangout, please feel free to thumb it up, share it with anyone you think would actually get a kick out of this. And if you have yet to do so, make sure you subscribe to the OAW YouTube channel. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. And
Hugo Strange.
Millie the Pendulum?
Christina.
Esper Review or Random Black Gamer. Either one.
that's your cue, Hikari.
I
I think Uber's dead.
I'm dead.
You're
I
dead?
think so. I think I let him drown.
Oh, okay. All right, and yeah. So, and we are signing off. Until next time, peace.
Peace.